Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the Hard&Soft Pro Wrestling Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever edition of the Hard&Soft Pro Wrestling Podcast. Because you know my life motto is, if you're not hard, you're soft. So, to bring it to you, my name is Chris. I'm going by the name of Hard, and I'm here with my little brother Randal, going by the
Well,
name of Soft. I'm going to let Randal step in here for a minute.
okay, so I'm the little brother. I get that. And you're hard for harding. So why do I gotta be soft?
Well, one of us has to be, buddy,
Yeah, you know what?
for
You're
the
right.
name's
And look,
sake.
yeah, and everyone's good at something, and I found my niche. What's up, man, dude? I'm super psyched that we've been talking about doing this for a long time, and for everyone that doesn't know, it's two brothers coming to you live that are lifelong pro wrestling fans, and hey, man, this is kind of how we bonded, man, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was 11 when you were born. I was already into wrestling full blast, and pretty much from you growing up, you were pretty much following me and just loving wrestling. And now here we are, years and years later, and
I'm
we're going to
26, you're
conventions.
57, and
Yeah, 37, and going to conventions, actually meeting these wrestlers that some that might be on this video tonight. I mean, the first episode we're
yeah,
gonna
hell.
do is WrestleMania 13.
If you don't, we were, like I said, talking about doing this podcast for a while just to have fun with it or whatever, but why, we were trying to decide on a first episode, and you pretty quickly, suggested Mania 13. Why did you do that?
Yeah, I think WrestleMania 13 is my favorite WrestleMania, um, pretty much of all time. And basically, my favorite match of all time is Stone Cold versus Bret Hart from this WrestleMania. And I know some of the rest of the card might not be the best, but maybe watching it now, years later. I mean, I've watched the Stone Cold and Bret Hart match a lot. I haven't watched the whole event a lot, since I've been a kid, but this is a great chance to go back and relive some of these moments.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, when you think about WrestleMania 18, what do you think about?
Well, we're
Rock and
doing 13.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like you said,
Oh
it's
yeah.
pretty much
Oh
to
yeah.
you in your memory that one match card. But man, I
Mhm.
mean, as fans, that's what you remember, man. You remember those big time moments, and this card certainly delivered in that
Yeah, and that
aspect
wasn't even
with
the
Orton.
it wasn't even the main event, and that's the match that most people still talk about to this day, which is pretty crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, '97. This is March of '97, and which is certainly, getting near probably the peak of your fandom.
Oh
What
yeah.
age are you here?
I think I'm about,
Because I'm 2 years old, sucking my thumb.
yeah, so 97, I'm about 12, 13 years old, and
Yeah,
Austin's
so this
becoming a
is
big thing, and Bret Hart was my favorite wrestler growing up, and kind of when he turned and Austin kind of went babyface here, it kind of turned me as a fan. I believed in it back then. Bret Hart got me when he came out and told the American fans to go screw themselves, so, I went right on the Austin train, and I've been on there ever since.
oh, absolutely. And then obviously this is peak Monday Night Wars too. I mean, WCW is huge at this time with the NWO, and we'll get into that a little bit, as we press play here. But let's do one thing. Let's go over the match card here, and if that's all right with you, and then we'll hit play on this thing, and we'll fire from the hip and watch this watch along.
Yeah. The first match we got going on is a number one contenders tag team fatal four way elimination match. between the Headbangers, the Godwins, with Hillbilly Jim, the New Blackjacks, and Doug Furness and Phil LaFawn.
Second match we got is for the Intercontinental Championship. Dude, I think now, at this time in the WWF, Intercontinental Championship's a big deal.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
not now, not so much in modern time, but back in this day, it was certainly, if you had that Intercontinental strap, you were the next guy.
you were going on to the WWF title at that point.
So we got the champ, Rocky Maivia, who would obviously become The Rock, versus the Sultan, which, uh, if you don't know, was going to become Rikishi. And he's got Bob Backlund and the Iron Sheik in his side.
Yeah, then next up we got Hunter Hearst Helmsley with China versus Goldust and with Marlena, not and Marlena.
Then we got the World Tag Team Championship, Owen Hart and the British Bulldog versus Mankind and Vader. Good Lord, man. I mean, we talk about this card not being... You can't say it's not star-studded. I mean, you got Owen,
Oh
the
yeah,
Bulldog,
Owen Hart,
Mankind, and
Bulldog,
Vader. Good Lord.
four of the biggest names right there in one match. After that, we have obviously my favorite match of all time, Bret the Hitman Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin with Ken Shamrock as a special guest referee.
And this is Shamrock's debut.
Yes.
What a time to debut, huh? Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a great debut for him in this match.
We got, after that, the Ahmed Johnson and Legion of Doom versus the Nation of Domination in a Chicago street fight match.
Oh boy,
So
I can't wait for that one.
we talk about WCW and the WWF, also at this time, huge other company coming into play would be ECW. So you see a little bit of that ECW.
Yeah, they're trying to get some hardcore action on there.
Yeah, trying to transition into the time of what the wrestling business would become.
And then the main event will be The Undertaker for the WWF title versus the champion Psycho Sid. Um, Also a good match. Kind of gets looked over just because of the whole Bret Hart Stone Cold Steve Austin match, but
Yeah, I mean,
we're
how do
gonna
you
go
follow
ahead and
something like that?
we're gonna go ahead and watch that match. I haven't seen that match in a couple of years, so
I
that'll
have
be
to
good
tell
to go
you,
back and watch.
I don't know if I've watched this card live. I don't know if I watched Austin and Bret Hart full match live either. So this will be a treat for me. And WrestleMania 13 is March 23rd of 1997 at the Rosemont Horizon in Rosemont, Illinois, and the attendance was 18,197. So man, we got to get like some hot chicks to like do the 1, 2, 3 play, huh?
Maybe
For
one of
now, I
these
guess it's
days.
just me and you.
Maybe one
So
day we
make it
can
big.
have we can get the Godfather to do a little intro for us. But for now, I guess it's just gonna be us with a little 3, 2, 1 play action. So if you are listening out there for our first episode and you do want to watch along with us while we go ahead and rant on and ramble our opinions about the event, we have it queued up to 4 seconds right now.
Yep.
So if you want to get there queued up at 4 seconds, and Randall, you can go ahead with the countdown, and as soon as you say play, I will hit play.
All right. Huh. All right. And
Huh.
1, 2, 3, play.
All right.
Well,
Show
shit, man.
starts off with a little video montage of past WrestleManias.
Yeah, and that's WrestleMania 1. I mean, how did Chris? Can you tell us how Vince McMahon introduced WrestleMania 1?
Well, goddamn, pal. That's
These
one I
impressions will
haven't
get better.
actually sat down and watched a full episode of WrestleMania 1. So maybe one day we'll actually
Well,
have
I
to
don't
go
know if
back
we
and
could.
watch that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of unbearable to get through. And now they're showing just a bunch of clips leading up, kind of what's to come later tonight here.
We talk
All
about
right.
WrestleMania 1 and being unbearable to watch nowadays, but I mean, and I think as we do this watch along or whatever, I think the trend will be that me and you uh, appreciate the old style of pro wrestling, man. The storyline and the hard hitting realism type matches, especially with the Hart Austin match. But you know, nowadays you turn on pro wrestling, you see a bunch of, as JR would say, tope suicidas, where maybe I
Yeah,
don't mind
JR
when you
is
grab a
great with
headlock
it.
here and there.
Yeah, yeah, I love this style of wrestling back then when, the matches were long and people sold and, you could actually go along with the story as where today it's more fast-paced action and where some of these matches will be fast-paced, but, there is a lot more storytelling back then than there is nowadays. And, maybe
God damn, I know.
one of these next episodes we'll cover some new stuff. I
Yeah,
figured for the first episode though, going back and watching a good. Oh, look at the crowd here too. They're just ripping and roaring here. Glad to
I
be
wouldn't
there.
mind one of those retro WrestleMania 13 T-shirts.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
if a
I
young,
always,
go ahead.
I always wish I would have kept some of those old shirts I would have got at these events, like
Oh
the
my
one with
God, yeah.
Shawn Michaels on the front of it.
If a
Yeah,
young
WrestleMania 13. Oh, there's
a
some
young 12
BWO
year old,
signs right there.
there it is. A young 12-year-old Chris Harding is in the crowd. What would his sign say? You think?
Oh, probably Austin 316.
Yeah, you're damn right. We got a Hitman 316 there. You got the
Yeah, back then,
PlayStation on the
back then
blimp.
you'd have
That's
to
pretty
have the
cool, huh?
Austin. Oh, oh wow, yeah, PlayStation 1. Still getting
God
advertisements from
damn!
there. Oh, and
This
we're
PlayStation
starting
thing is
off with
getting
the first
huge,
match.
JR. All right,
And the first
hillbillies.
match is a four-way elimination match. So, and actually, the winner of this match is going to go on to the next night at Monday Night Raw for a tag team championship match against whoever wins later on in the night between the Bulldog and Owen versus Mankind and Vader. So, some good stakes here.
Sold out crowd
Oh,
is for
and
sure. I mean, look at the
on
announce team.
commentary, oh,
Good
this
old
is one of the
JR,
best announced teams ever.
Vinnie Mac, and
The
Jerry the
King,
King.
and people don't like Vince McMahon sometimes on commentary, but I love him on commentary.
Did you?
I think he's great.
Yeah, I
I
think he
think
adds
he's
an
great.
element of.
He might not know all the move names and this and that, but his intensity is there. Going around
What a
showing all
maneuver.
the. That's his favorite move right there, the maneuver.
How much you want to bet the Spanish announce table is going out tonight?
It's got to go out at
Safe
some
bet.
point. Maybe during the
Yeah.
Chicago street fight.
Yeah. Don't
And here
stand a
come the
chance.
headbangers.
Dude, I mean, I remember going back and watching some of this stuff when I was growing up too, and I always liked the headbangers. I don't know, I just like their look.
Oh yeah, they come down there,
They
coming
were
down like
different, man.
punk rock
I
guys.
don't know. Yeah,
Definitely, yeah, definitely different because back then everybody was like, okay, we got the Godwins, they're pig farmers. Then we got the Blackjacks, and actually the new Blackjacks. So it's like just trying to bring back an old gimmick, just hoping that it will work. But you see how far it got Bradshaw, so I think it worked for that aspect.
yeah. I'm interested to see this presentation of. Now, okay, I'm a lifelong pro wrestling fan, but who are these? Who are these guys?
Oh, this is Doug Furness and Philip LaFawn,
Huh.
and I definitely remember them from back in the day, but they're not a memorable tag team. Yeah, but you know what it is? They don't have the personality. But if they were around now, people would probably be going crazy over them. And actually, when they were coming down, showing some of the BWO signs in the crowd, that's pretty crazy that you know just something like that from a little company ECW is making its way onto WrestleMania. And the weeks leading up, they had a bunch of little interactions over there. They had a bunch of ECW guys coming over trying to invade Raw.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Wasn't Paul Heyman and all his guys were there on Raw? Was it the week before this?
yeah, actually, 4 weeks before this, February 24th, Jerry Lawler was inviting Paul Heyman down to come to Raw. And after the first match on Raw that night, Paul Heyman and the Eliminators came down to the ring. Heyman's like, oh yeah, I accept your invitation, Lawler. The Eliminators hit the total elimination on a cameraman, and they all go back to the back. But that night too, they had the BWO come out, and the crowd was just going nuts for the BWO. And the Blue Meanie is he's just awesome. He's coming down, throwing out T-shirts, dancing for the crowd, and oh,
Here we go.
we got a brawl going on here.
Yeah, I was certainly still am. I love going back and watching those old ECW pay-per-views, and man, the stigma is right. It's extreme hardcore style matches, but it was way more than that, man. You watch some of those cards. I mean, they were put together so well, and most of the time, to be honest, I mean, you look at a match like we're watching now, really probably no story. I mean, not every match can have a great banging storyline, but ECW was notorious for having great stories and really, putting a heavy emphasis on realism, which was obviously appealing, which is where the WWF went.
Yeah, ECW is awesome. I mean, they definitely made WWF change their style a little bit because of what they were
Certainly.
doing. The more real life storylines, um, instead of like such the cartoon characters. Everyone
Yeah.
here has a job. There's so many like career wrestling gimmicks in this era, but right around here is when they're kind of stopping that.
Yeah, and I think in every company, the boys and the wrestlers themselves kind of knew where the business was going. I listened to interviews with Shawn Michaels and when Kevin Nash and him main evented WrestleMania 11. I mean, if you watch their main event, I mean, it starts like an '80s style wrestle match, but by the end of that thing, it's Attitude Era wrestling at its best, which is where Shawn wanted to take the business 3 years before Vince ended up taking it there. So I think everyone knew where we needed to go with the product.
Yeah, and right around here is when things start to kind of blow up. You got Bret Hart after this turning on the crowd, starting up the Hart Foundation really big and everything like that. DX starting up soon after this. It's it was really a great time to be a wrestling fan, being able to go back and forth. And I mean, some of this stuff that you're seeing here, and then you look over at WCW, they got the NWO coming out. I mean, they got Hall and Nash coming down. Some of the tag teams over there are so much more realistic and bigger and badder tag teams that they have in WCW. And then you come over here and you see some of these guys, but that's kind of what made them change.
Now, I might have missed this, but so they can tag any team at any time. I just saw a headbanger
I
tag in.
think,
It looks like
yeah, I think the
Black
rules are
Cat.
you could just tag anybody,
Fuck it, man. I love that.
which doesn't really make sense because why would you tag someone else in and give them a chance to win? You think you wouldn't want to do
Yeah.
that,
Well, it's
but
elimination. I know that. So
oh, so maybe they want to get the opponents in, kind of
yeah,
wear them
I
down
know
a
if I'm
little
in there,
bit.
I'm just tagging your ass in. Get in there.
Yeah, you get in there, you do the work.
So if you're
I'm
always
gonna
hard,
come
does
in
that
at the
mean you're
end and
hard
grab the
right now?
pin. Oh, it'd have to be.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Yeah, I
Because
don't want to have to.
I'm certainly soft. Just saying.
Well, I'm pretty sure of that.
I don't know about later, but as far as now, I'll probably still be soft.
Oh, the big tag team move, and look at a young Bradshaw here.
Isn't it true, man? I mean, Bradshaw would obviously become JBL and world champ and all. You can see something that he's got that. I mean, look at this. You
Yeah,
can
he's a
tell that
big.
these guys, uh, have something different, have something to give. Even before, I mean, we're gonna see Rocky Maivia here in a minute, but
Yeah,
these
he's got
guys have
that
it.
presence about him.
And I think listening to a bunch of shoot interviews or whatever, we always hear that Vince. That's probably one of his best attributes is he sees this stuff in guys 5, 10 years before they're able to even present it themselves.
Yeah, he kind of knows how to bring it out of people. Yeah, and Bradshaw, I mean, he's a real nice guy. We got a chance to meet him, and he couldn't have been nicer to us.
It's definitely a tall drink of water. We
Yeah,
got the
he was.
brawl on the outside here.
I mean, you can tell he's big on TV, but some of those guys, when you meet him live, it's oh, I guess the
Count out?
Blackjacks are eliminated by countout, and it almost looks like, oh no, and Furnace and Fawn have been counted out. I think the Blackjacks were disqualified. Who knows what's going on, but it's down
Referee
to the
Mike Chioda
Godwins and the
making big
Headbangers.
calls.
Oh, and the body slam to Phineas onto the Headbangers there. And not such a bad match. A little bit of a train wreck, but for a first match, get the fans going.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, not every match can be the main event, but hell, I mean, you got a bunch of guys that want to go out there and have their Mania moment or whatever. Nice suplex.
Oh,
Chris, you wearing
right
those
there.
shorts right there? I know you got a
Which
pair
shorts?
of those underwear.
Mosh and Thrashers.
Yeah,
I got a couple.
yeah, of course you do.
A couple signed pairs. Got Hillbilly Jim on the outside.
Mike Chioda, man, he's still. I see him pop out. He's normally in the crowd of like an AEW show, which is cool.
Yeah, at least he's still around. You know what I mean?
When I think of referees, I think of him, and I think of obviously Earl Hebner. Those are the two.
Yeah.
And then Little Nate, he's good too.
Yeah, he's always a good one. I mean, he's like synonymous with WCW.
Yeah, a lot of the guys like Jake the Snake would say that he started, his pro wrestling training as a referee, and he said that's one of the best ways to learn what goes on, inside the ropes there.
Yeah, I think you hear that a lot actually. A lot of people break into the business doing that, which is pretty cool. Oh, the Godwins coming in for a little double team action here. Man, I wouldn't want to get a slop bucket poured on me, I'll tell you that much.
I remember that. Hillbilly Jim, man, he was a huge superstar.
Yeah, back in the 80s, he was huge. Still a big guy, too. And, I mean, he fits the part coming down with the Godwins. Oh, both men
Over
to
the
the
top
outside.
rope, nice clothesline. So, I'm gonna go over some notes that we went over as we were getting ready for this episode, and kind of set the stage on what's going on in the wrestling business and how we got to WrestleMania 13 and how this card was formulated. Certainly a crazy time in wrestling where things change on second to second, it seemed like. So WrestleMania 13, it came at a time in which the WWF was getting their asses kicked by WCW, who had the NWO. Obviously a faction featuring a bunch of ex-WWF superstars that had jumped ship. And on March 16th of 97, WCW featured a competing pay-per-view called Uncensored, which was commentated by, you'll love this, Tony Schiavone, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Good Lord, man. I mean, it doesn't get much better
Another great
than that.
commentary team.
So Schiavone went from Uncensored to working at Starbucks, and now he's with AEW. That's one of my favorite things. Schiavone in Starbucks. What the hell?
I can't believe that. I mean, imagine if you go to Starbucks and Tony Schiavone is sitting there and he's taking your order. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
In his shitty khakis. This pay per view by
Like,
WCW featured stars like Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Roddy Piper, DDP, Hogan, Macho Man, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and even had an appearance by Dennis Rodman. Pretty crazy.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, Uncensored ended
So
as the New World
uncensored.
Order spray painted Lex Luger and began to head off until Sting descended from the heavens and took out Hall, Nash, and Savage with his trusty baseball bat. Scorpion death drops were handed out, and Sting dared Hogan to get in the ring. Hollywood agreed, but only if Stinger dropped his bat. The show ended with Sting even dropping Hogan and Sting standing tall.
So
That was
I
a pretty
mean,
good ending, actually, to that show.
yeah. Did you can you remember watching that live by chance?
I don't think I actually watched that one live because I think I was watching WrestleMania 13 live the next week, so I don't think I was able to actually get both of those pay-per-views. But
But certainly a
yeah,
cool
just
attraction
reading
type of
that
an
back.
ending with Sting.
Oh my God! And then with the spray paint on Luger, that is freaking awesome.
Yeah, NWO at full peak, and then Sting making his return or whatever from the rafters. I mean, that's awesome. All right, we got
Oh,
the headbangers.
it,
Got a 1, 2, 3. Is that
yeah,
the
we got a
finish?
victory for the Headbangers, and tomorrow night they're
All
gonna go
right.
on to face the tag team champions, whoever they may be.
Yeah, the tag team titles will be defended later tonight on this card.
Nice, we'll get a little replay. Oh,
You can tell a nice little pop from the crowd.
yeah, they're into it. They're happy to
I'm
be
wearing
there.
those pants right
I
now.
mean, oh hell yeah. Oh, here we go. A little video package.
I love some of these old wrestling vintage video
Oh,
packages
they're
that they put together.
hyping up a up and coming in your house pay-per-view. Oh, the next pay-per-view coming up April 20th. Oh, good shot of Austin. Oh boy. In the ring now we
Oh, the
have
honky tonk
the
man.
Honky Tonk Man.
Dude, what was up with him? I mean, he saw a lot of success in wrestling.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think he was coming back here. Oh, there's Captain Lou Albano. Shot of him in the crowd.
What do you think the people in the back row are thinking?
Like, what the hell is this guy
Yeah,
doing?
they
Yeah,
bought
you got
tickets to the
Honky
wrong
Tonk
event. It
Man
looked like.
coming back here, and he's been trying to uh, find a superstar, I think, and I think Rockabilly is on that list for him. Oh, it looks like he's coming down to commentary. He's definitely a good talker, that's for sure. And he's got some pretty sweet outfits, I'll tell you that much.
Tell you what, you think JR's thinking?
He's goddamn her.
Her. Maybe you're hungry for some barbecue sauce. Her.
Oh, who do we got coming
Huck
on
it.
here? Oh, here comes the Sultan with the Iron Sheik.
Iron Sheiky, baby. Sheiky, baby.
Is Backlund with him too? The
I know at
Sultan.
some of the conventions we go to, I know we've seen what would then become Rikishi, and then Bob Backlund behind him. We just saw Bob Backlund. Bob Backlund's doing
Yeah,
well.
yeah, he really is. He's got his book for sale.
Still sharp as a tack.
Yeah, it's cool getting to see some of these guys, in person now. And you go back and you see them, how many years ago, 1997, and here they are. They're still able to go out there and make a living off of what they did how many years ago, which is pretty amazing.
Sheik getting up those steps. Had no problem.
Yeah, yeah. If you want some
God, his
interesting
Hall of Fame
content, I
speech
mean,
is awesome.
oh yeah, and if you want some other interesting content, go watch some of his shoot interviews.
Yeah.
I'm sure. You'll get some good laughs from that.
Hulk Hogan, you fuck you, Hulk Hogan.
I love Bruce Pritchard doing an interview of the Iron Sheik. I mean that's probably where we came up with this idea is probably years ago. Just started to listen to Conrad do his podcast, and just
Yeah,
seeing how much we like listening to that, and maybe it's just crazy how much content there is out there and how much knowledge there is now that you had no idea about in 1997. Oh, and here's The Rock.
Rocky
Well, who
Maivia.
will become The Rock? Yeah, Rocky Maivia, the Intercontinental Champion.
Sporting one of the coolest belts that I think is that vintage Intercontinental strap. Think sweet. I'd love to have a
Oh yeah,
replica belt of that.
that's one of my favorite belts is the IC title, the old one right there. Maybe with the white strap though, I like a little bit better.
Definitely, definitely.
But I'd still take that one. I'd be okay with it. Well, The Rock's got his oh Tony Atlas out in the crowd here. Used to be his dad, Rocky Johnson's tag team partner.
You think you paid for that seat?
Oh, no way. But he's probably
I
not
hope
getting
not.
that seat after this match, though. I bet you they switch those seats in and out for depending on who's in the match. They'll be like, "Oh, get out of there. We need to get like when next match comes out, we need to get Goldust's family out here at ringside. You
Yeah,
gotta get out
you
of
might
there."
be right.
Yeah, we'll see if we can see Captain Lou Albano in the next match.
Hell,
And The
I
Rock
mean,
trying to.
Rock, you can still see the natural entertainer in him. It just takes some time, man. I mean, you can't just hop on into the ring and be a star right away. You got to have these developmental, experiences, and this is probably his biggest one here at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, you can tell he's coming into his own, and then once he gets to get on the mic with the nation and everything like that, I mean, it was just off and running from there.
Nice drop kick.
He's definitely got the in-ring ability. You can't take that away from him. There was a match leading up to this. Um, he was just going against a jobber, but he hit a top rope crossbody from like the guy was standing in the middle of the ring and Rocky hit him from the corner. I mean, it was just like amazing how far he flew across to hit that crossbody.
Definitely a good athlete out of Miami, a football guy. Uh, it says something about him too. I mean, when the big story is right that he came in and the crowd was kind of shitting on him or whatever. It tells you something that he was able to hang in there and figure it out, and figure it out he did. I mean, he became maybe the biggest star in the business.
Yeah, and he's still he's still one of the biggest stars in the business, and he barely even has to wrestle anymore.
Yeah, certainly.
Actually,
Rocky
on
and
March 3rd, Raw was in Berlin, Germany, and Rocky went against Vader for the IC title, and Vader actually got DQ'd because Mankind ran down and hit Rocky with the urn. That was pretty good because Vader was all pissed off at the end, like, "Oh, what the hell are you doing?" And then it was actually the next week, March 10th, when Rocky went against that jobber and dove halfway across the ring for that crossbody.
Sultan's going in with that nerve lock. Classic heel move. Rocks.
Oh yeah, I don't think I want the
What do
Sultan
you think he's
putting
saying
the.
there?
It's
Selling,
ease
calling
up a
his next
little
spot, it seems.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it looks
Take a
like
little.
it.
Come on.
Yeah, some guys are good. You can't even tell really what they're saying at all. But then there's other guys that you can kind of actually see like okay, I can actually see what you just said there.
I think he just said, "Hey, you like some poontang pie?" fat boy.
I sure would. Maybe right
S-
after the match.
So certainly after Uncensored, Vince, the WWF at the time were down, and they needed certainly needed a big night out of their premier upcoming pay per view WrestleMania. Uh, the main feud heading into WrestleMania 13 was like Chris, you said earlier, the Undertaker and Psycho Sid for the strap. Uh, what some people may not know is that many things needed to be moved around, at last second. Less than 30 days before the show, it didn't seem possible that the Undertaker would be the main event. But a year straight, even after a year straight of losing to Mankind, but Vince was in a pinch, as we'll get into, and turned to his most trusted soldier. And like now that the Undertaker's kind of come out and come out from behind the curtain, you really see how he was the guy that Vince leaned on probably the most. I mean, you had Hogan certainly before this era, but Taker's with the WWE, WWF, and he didn't leave, and there was no thought that he would.
Yeah, and it didn't seem like he would ever leave. And now, when you see him now, it's like, yeah, it's pretty much a guarantee. He would have never left. And why would he? I mean, Vince pretty much has made him a star for his entire career.
Yeah, Vince. He always credited Vince with coming up with that Undertaker character, that gimmick, which obviously Taker did tremendously. Even to today, you hear a gong go off. The main event in the UFC card this past weekend, Israel Adesanya. You know who he came out to? His entrance theme was the
Undertaker's
Undertaker.
theme,
Yeah, dude.
really.
So it's still awe inspiring, and that character is still alive, man.
And it's awesome that he never left the company. You know what I mean? He stayed with
Yeah.
them forever.
But the story was that if Shawn was healthy, the likely main event would have been Shawn versus Brett for the world title, since that was the popular storyline at the time. The rumor was that Shawn would drop the strap to Brett and repay Brett after he put Shawn over at the previous WrestleMania during their Iron Man match. Dude, I don't know if you ever heard this, but Brett has gone on to say that that was, what they had been talking about for the main event of WrestleMania 13, him and Shawn. And he said that they wanted to have a similar match to their Iron Man match, go about 35, 40 minutes, and at the end, the finish would be, you know, Brett selling in the corner as Shawn tunes up the band for the Sweet Chin music. Brett would evade, grab Shawn's foot, put him in like what he wanted it to look like, a shoot hold. And the story was that he was gonna, in storyline, wink wink, break Shawn's foot and make this a reality-based story, and going off the air at WrestleMania 13 as Shawn is hurt and Brett is like mocking him in the ring as he walks off with the belt, which would have been interesting.
That might have worked actually, but it's funny that how Sean left because he lost his smile and everything like that.
Dude, what do
But
you think about that?
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know what to think because when you think about it, it's like every time that he has to drop the title, something like that has happened, and it's funny that during the Raw right before this, March 17th Raw, Shawn Michaels was there in the ring doing an interview with Vince McMahon saying that he found his smile and will be back to action sometime soon. And that's the week before WrestleMania goes on. So, which is kind of funny because now he doesn't have to lose the title at WrestleMania, lose at WrestleMania either, and now he'll be back to action. And we all know he goes on and main events the next year's WrestleMania against Stone Cold as the champion. So he gives the title away without having to lose it, and then he comes back and wins the title back shortly after he gave it up because he didn't want to lose it to Brett. And then he gets it
Yeah,
back in
some
the screw job.
right. This is some real life. I mean, look, it's pro wrestling. It's entertainment, but I mean, those guys took it serious, and you know, I, Man, I mean,
Oh,
I
Rock's
don't
going up
think.
to the top rope.
I mean, look at him, man. He still had
Oh,
it, even at this
hits him with
time.
the crossbody.
Nice.
No ref.
One,
No ref.
two.
The Sheik is in her.
Oh, Shiki,
Oh,
baby.
come on, Rock.
What's Bob Backlund doing?
Uh-oh.
Rock didn't quite perfect his working punch yet.
Big side kick right to the face.
It's
Oh,
hilarious.
but
He
Rocky
became the Rock
kicks
and
out.
just started hawking loogies into his hand and throwing punches like that. Unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy. When The Rock wrestles, he does spit a lot, though. Like, sometimes he gets to the point where I'm like, wow, have you, are you just spitting everywhere?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I don't think these guys like what's talked about maybe enough, or these guys are traveling up and down the road, working 310 days a year. I mean, look, Sean at this time is beat up. He's not in a good place. That's been well documented, and he's the first one to say that. But I mean,
Oh,
it
and
is interesting, man.
Rock got him with a roll up.
There it is. Roll it for the win. Retains title.
Wow, out of nowhere.
Here comes Backlund. Here comes Shiki.
Oh, and he's getting out of there. Looks like JR is trying to get a word with her. Rock, how does it feel now to her? Hey, you get off of him now. And Sultan's attacking him after the match, beating him down with the title belt. Oh, poor Rock. Oh, and the
What a
Sheik's even
maneuver.
putting the boot
Oh,
to him.
Shiki.
Oh, the Sultan's going up to the top now.
I think soon enough here we're going to get some help
Oh,
for The Rock
big
here.
splash. Big Samoan splash.
You taking that? How much money for you to take that?
I'll take it just for fun.
Shiki.
Oh, and the Sheiky's got him in the camel clutch, and Sultan's just smacking him in the face. Yeah, he may have won the title, but he's gonna be humiliated. Oh, and here comes Rocky Johnson, The Rock's dad.
Rocky Sr. firing up.
Whoa, the
Certainly,
Soul Man.
this has got to still be a cool moment for The Rock, man. I mean, here's his dad coming in, even though he's not. I mean, hell, man. I mean, he's the Intercontinental Champ. He's probably only a year or two in the business, and then he gets his dad at WrestleMania. This is
Oh,
cool.
now the Sultan attacking Rocky Johnson with the flag. Come on, Tony Atlas, you're in the crowd. You gotta come in here and save him. I actually just saw in the news that The Rock supposedly has a bunch of half siblings from Rocky Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Rock's back up, attacking the Sultan. Oh,
Have you seen any of that Young Rock TV show?
yeah, it's not too bad.
It's pretty good.
Oh, now here goes the Sheik. Oh,
Sheik
with a
gonna take
body
a
slam
bump?
to the Sheik.
Oh
Uh-oh.
my god.
Oh, and another one. Wow.
How much do you think Vince paid off Sheik for this?
Oh, this could have been a six-figure for him, I guess.
Yeah, it must have been.
Oh,
The
and
Soul
standing
Man.
tall, son and father.
Pretty cool, man. Rocky
Yeah,
Sr.
good
still in
moment.
good shape.
Good WrestleMania moment. I mean, just thinking 2 years, Rock will be main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy.
So
But
the
like we were
IC title
saying,
will take you to somewhere else.
it's all about that the competitive nature about, like you said, 2 years from now Rock's going to be in the main event. Well, it's because he was so competitive, man. Everyone coming into that era wanted to be number one. You
Yeah,
had a
and
young
you had
Triple
to.
H on this card, young Rock, young Austin. These guys that were looking to make it big uh, would keep pushing. Here's Ken
Yep, here's
Shamrock
Todd
making his debut
Pettengill.
tonight.
Yep, Todd Pettengill interviewing Ken Shamrock.
Do you have a
Oh
Todd
yeah, this is.
Pettengill T-shirt?
Yeah, I do. I have them all saved in the attic. I
Yeah.
don't want to wear
Okay.
them and ruin them. So
You probably
yeah,
wear
this
them
was
to work.
last week. Billy Gunn invited Shamrock into the ring. Shamrock put him down and made him tap out with an armbar. And then he also put him in an ankle lock. You don't really want to mess with Ken Shamrock.
No, certainly not. I mean, he was. I don't know if he was on UFC one, but I know he was on like two or three or something like that. And I mean, he was really the first guy in MMA to put every art of MMA together and be one pretty much balanced fighter. And he was a badass, man, in real life. So good for him to be able to come into this world and do really well, and certainly to make your debut on Mania in such a historical match. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you think
You
Triple H
know.
is saying here, Chris?
Well,
Do do
Doc.
do.
It's great to
Get
see
that
Triple H
microphone
like
out of
back
my
then.
nose.
Like just how young he is back here. And then just to see like how far he actually went. But you could tell even back then that he was gonna go somewhere. I mean, this is right before DX starts up. He's got China here.
Yep. Yeah, weeks before this, Goldust battled Triple H at the Royal Rumble, where Triple H would come out on top. Goldust would then interfere in Helmsley's match at the In Your House pay-per-view in February, causing Triple H to lose to Rocky Maivia. We would also see the debut of China at that In Your House, as she snuck a headlock over the guardrail on Marlena, posing as a fan in the crowd. And, as I'm watching that show back in preparation for this, JR really sold it, to make you believe that that wasn't supposed to happen. But certainly China uh, makes a big impact on the last pay-per-view, and here she is accompanying Helmsley to the ring.
Yeah, she's gonna play a big part in his career coming
I'll
up
tell you
here
what,
for the
too, I
next.
love me some Marlena. Good Lord.
Yeah, this was great too. I mean, the whole feud between the four of these, it was just great. I mean, Goldust and Triple H always had great matches, and then to throw in the added here with China and Marlena on the outside, where I mean, China's just like manhandling people.
Legitimately.
Yeah, March 10th, Goldust was facing a jobber, and China was watching from the top of the ramp. And after the match, she came down to the ring to try to attack Goldust, but Marlena jumped on her back, and they got into this big pull apart brawl. And China actually press slammed the ref into like all the other referees. It was pretty cool.
China would even go on, later in her life to wrestle in Japan against men. Well, and then obviously in the States too, in the WWF and WWE would wrestle guys like Chris Jericho and Jeff Jarrett. I think she even
Yeah,
became the
Jeff Jarrett,
Intercontinental
that was a
Champ.
great match. Yeah, yeah, beat Jeff Jarrett.
Now this is cool, man. I mean, look at this.
Oh,
I like
Goldust
this
is.
Goldust character.
Yeah,
Obviously the son of the American Dream. Goldust baby.
yeah, and I mean back then when I was watching wrestling on WrestleMania 13 or when Goldust started, I had no idea he was Dusty Rhodes' kid. It's like when you were just a kid watching back then, you didn't know all this dirt that you know now. You didn't know all the behind the scenes stuff, and you didn't have people writing newsletters, or it wasn't as accessible as it is now, where you could just look on your phone and see it. Back then it'd be like I'd have to get a tape sent to me through a catalog or something like that.
Yeah, I'd certainly prefer it to be like that nowadays. I mean, watching big time pay-per-views, it's almost hard not to, you know, they want to
You
surprise you with
almost
a
know what's
debut
gonna
or
happen.
whatever. Yep.
Yeah, you almost always know what's gonna happen, or they always like spoil the surprise before it even happens.
And I think that's probably maybe my favorite thing about pro wrestling is the swerves and the surprise and oh, I didn't see that coming type moments.
Yeah, yeah, I hate like when you have social media nowadays where they're like, "Oh, next week this person." It's like, "Well, if you wouldn't have said that when they came out, it would have been like amazing." But if you hype it up, it's like, "Well, it's not going to be that great then." Then it really better be like the best surprise ever if you hype it up like that.
I
Yeah,
remember
Goldust taunting Triple H.
when the Hardy Boys returned at WrestleMania just a
Oh,
couple years ago. Right before that, I saw on Twitter that Matt Hardy was like gonna be there or something. It kind of ruined it for me. But I mean, look at these two guys: Goldust, future Hall of Famer, if the WWE so chooses so, and obviously Triple H, one of say what you want about Triple H, and there's a lot of like you said dirt out there on him, but good lord, man, one of my favorites.
oh, he is so good in the ring. I mean, I can't
Triple
really
H's
pick out
schnoz
a
right in
bad Triple
Goldust's
H.
groin.
Oh, it's getting close. I mean, he's that schnoz is pretty big. Yeah, on March 17th on Raw, Flash Funk was going against Triple H, and Flash Funk was about to go to the top rope. China comes up to the ring, distracts him. Triple H hits the pedigree for the win, and then both of them come down, or they get back in the ring and just beat down Flash Funk. So I mean, they're just showing her as just as like a beast, just
Yeah,
coming in, just able to manhandle anybody. Men, women, doesn't matter.
Flash Funk's still working today. We just saw him wrestle in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we did. I totally almost forgot about that.
But yeah, I
Yeah, a
mean,
couple months ago.
they say that Triple H and Shawn were the two real big proponents of bringing China in. Vince didn't see it, but these guys saw her at the gym one day and said, you know what, we can make money with this one.
Yeah, and it's a good thing they did because she could have as easily have just went to WCW, but they probably wouldn't have been able to do anything with her. And I mean, actually, at the time, both companies didn't really have a strong women's division anyway. Really, no women's division. Besides, the other channel had Medusa, but that was about it.
Ooh, good kick by Goldust. Right in that big goozle of a schnoz.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean,
Trying to shrink it down to size.
I think you're right, man. I mean, we probably don't have Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky in the main event of WrestleMania if there was no China.
Yeah, she definitely came in and changed the game, even back here. For even like intergender wrestling and stuff like that. I mean, they're still doing this stuff today.
So yeah, to go back to where we are, Shawn Michaels forfeits the WWF title to I believe Gorilla Monsoon in the ring there with that "Lost My Smile" promo.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, there's those in the company that think this injury is a fake because he didn't want to give up the title. But either way, they have a fatal four-way match for the world title at their February in their house pay-per-view that was won by the Hitman Bret Hart. Bret lost the title the next day to Sid after a Steve Austin interference. So Austin comes in with the chair shot to Bret after Bret has Sid won, uh, but Austin interference and Sid wins the strap from Bret on Raw, and so Sid's standing there in the ring celebrating the title win, and then the gong goes off, the lights flicker, and here he comes, old Desperado, the Undertaker makes his entrance. Sid lays the strap down there in the middle of the ring. The two giants stare down each other, and the sage is set here for Illinois. We got Sid versus Undertaker for the world title, and then they did a nice job setting this storyline up too. We got Bret Hart, Steve Austin in a submission match, which is interesting, man. I mean, you think submission, you obviously go to the sharpshooter, but other than what was Austin's headlock when he was with Ted DiBiase?
He used the $1 Million Dream.
The $1 million dream, yeah.
which I mean, I guess is a submission hold, but I don't know. It doesn't really seem like one that you'd be using in this type of submission match.
Right. But
More like
it
you want
sets
something
the
that's gonna make someone tap out. But
right. So you got the sharpshooter, and the story is that Austin is gonna beat Brett senseless so bad that he'll have, no choice but to utter the words "I quit." So I think it's cool, man. I mean, it certainly puts that I don't know what's gonna happen feel on that attraction type match, and we'll get to there in a second. Hunter putting the boots to Goldust, pointing
yep,
at
he's over
Marlena.
here. Yep, taunting her from the ring.
Good lord.
Good look at China there, just standing there waiting for someone to come in her way. Yeah, these two have been putting on a good match so far. I mean, then they've been putting on good matches before this and after this. I mean, these two will. Dustin Rhodes, Goldust, he can still put on a good match.
Yeah, him and Cody. I mean, good lord, at that one of the first. Really, I think the when AEW had their first really cool moment is when him and Cody went at it in their match, and had the brother versus brother story there. But yeah,
Oh yeah, that was.
definitely, Goldust can still go out there and do it. You think Vince is telling Marlena, "Hey, can you move to the right a little bit? I got my logo blocking."
Got the big, got got the big cigar going too. That was always a staple.
God damn it!
Looks like a Cuban cigar.
Get this girl a stogie. I love it.
It's probably exactly what he was saying in the back too.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
probably
good
saying,
old
I
abdominal
wonder if
stretch. Oh, but he's reaching for the ropes for that extra leverage.
I wonder if Marlena would be interested in being a paralegal.
Yeah, might have a good career there.
Huh.
Yeah, you don't see people using the abdominal stretch anymore. Oh, good running knee strike. Looks like
I love the shots of the crowd when it's all blacked out like that. It's pretty sweet.
yeah, this was always a good building too. Because wrestlers always say they like to perform it at the Rosemont Horizon.
To recap our
Trying to
prior
get the
two
pin.
matches, first match is won by the Headbangers. Meltzer gave that a 1.5 stars. Then the Intercontinental Championship, Meltzer gave it 1.25 stars. Uh, and then now we're at Hunter versus Goldust, and Meltzer would give this match 2.25 stars. So
Good old Meltzer. I mean, he's always out there complaining about something, so. But some
yeah,
people love
I
him,
know.
and
Obviously,
some people hate him.
I know the Observer was catching fire here, and then later in '97 in Montreal, when the screw job would happen, is when the Wrestling Observer with Dave Meltzer would really take off.
Oh yeah, I mean he's been putting out material for I don't even know how many years now. I mean, probably over 30 years at this point.
2 count there by good old Mike Chioda.
I mean, Triple H still looked huge even back then.
Oh yeah, he's on the gas. He's gassing it up.
They said they
Thankful
got
that
about 18,000 fans.
thankful we didn't see Triple H go just recently. He's doing okay now, it seems, which is great.
Yeah, looks like he's, I guess, definitely retired now for sure. But
I'll tell you one thing: Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, he ain't retired. July 31st. You might have to do a watch along for that
yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
in
I mean, it might
Nashville.
not be the best technical wrestling match, but it is going to be something to see. That's for sure.
The Nature
And I don't
Boy.
even know who his opponent's gonna be.
Yeah, we don't know yet. The rumor is Jay Lethal could be involved in the match, which I would love. Those two guys have been training together, and they certainly have that chemistry.
Yeah, that would be cool. But I feel like it's gonna be somebody crazy. I don't know. They're not just gonna
Yeah,
have Ric Flair's final match and it's as good as Jay Lethal is. I just feel like they're not gonna have Ric Flair versus Jay Lethal. It's gonna be like I don't know, Ric
I think
Flair
they're gonna have a
versus
tag team. It's gonna be a tag team
versus
scenario.
Arn Anderson.
Oh, I'd love that. Not just anyone's spot; it's my spot.
Yeah, or like Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan.
Double chest bump. Both competitors on the mat.
You don't want them both down for the count of 10. It's not really a big thing anymore. They don't really do that too much unless they're having like a last man standing match.
You were saying earlier, this dude. I mean, we hear the term selling all the time, right? I mean, just watching this match, I mean, selling really is the base of the art
Oh, that
of
was a
pro
good
wrestling.
move.
It brings that continuity. It brings the pacing, and makes just things believable in the sense that you can digest what you're watching, register it, and it gives you time as a fan to kind of articulate, what you're watching. Nowadays, if I see 14 super kicks in a row, it's like I don't even know really, like, where do we go from there? I'm not really sure what I'm watching.
Yeah, there's really nowhere to go at that point. You've already seen it all. Like right here, they did a Triple H comes off the top, Goldust hits him with a butt bump, and they've been down and they're selling it. Today's wrestling, there would have been 3 or 4 moves already in between that time.
Oh,
What they say, like less is more.
yeah, yeah. God damn it,
Those, those upper ribs really took a shot there. What a maneuver.
motherfucker. What do you think Cornette's saying about China right now?
Well,
She'll take a double
goddamn.
cheese.
I don't think there's any cornet on this card. I guess not.
Well, I hope I see Cornette in Nashville. I'll tell you, with Flair, got to see him in the crowd.
Yeah, I mean that's a possibility.
Nice
He's
back body drop.
he's probably at least got to be in the crowd.
Hell, he might work.
That could be Flair's final opponent. Oh, that was nice.
Running Bulldog by Goldust.
He
I
always
think
had a good running bulldog.
the year earlier, is it Goldust and Piper? They have that backlot brawl
Yep,
with the OJ
yep, the
spot.
Hollywood, yep, the Hollywood backlot brawl where they're chasing him in the Ford Bronco.
Dude, hell of a story. I've heard some interviews by Goldust, and he
Oh,
says,
here
I
comes
mean,
the curtain call.
goddamn, I mean those guys. I mean, oh, here we go, China. I
Oh,
mean, look at the
reversal.
crowd,
Yep, they're all focused on China Marlena now.
and that's something that Vince sees, later on or whatever, as he's there at the commentating booth, and he's like, you know what, there might be something there with
Oh,
China.
a good monkey flip into the ropes. But Goldust had a chance, but he's coming down to save Marlena. Uh-oh.
Classic.
Knocked her right into China,
Into the
throwing her
bear
like
hug.
a rag doll. Triple H hits the pedigree.
Puppies.
1, 2, 3. And it's all over. Great match, though.
Yeah, solid match.
and a good ending. Great,
Yeah,
great finish.
puts China in a spot where she's featured. It's cool. Marlena's selling it. Probably doesn't have to try too hard.
No, not with that ragdolling that just happened.
Hunter takes his bow.
It was a great character. Oh, Vince McMahon is God sign. That's a good one. Yeah, just think a couple months from now, Triple H is gonna start teaming up with Shawn Michaels and DX will form, and I mean his career is gonna freaking just take off.
Yeah, a bunch of guys in this time that wouldn't be denied.
Goldust making sure Marlene is okay. Uh oh.
And certainly at this time, these guys are on the road, goddamn every day of their lives, doing this stuff. So really the peak of probably pro wrestling, certainly to this point.
Well, and an emotional Goldust. Really selling the Marlena thing. I mean, I'd say this is good. They're selling it really good. Like
I think they're
like
real life partners at this time, correct?
yeah, yeah. I think they're married at this time actually. Well,
Good
doing
for
a little
Dusty.
replay of that pedigree. Boom.
Hell of a
This
move.
was
What a
good right.
maneuver.
That's that was good right here. Boom. Right into China's arms. It's perfect. Oh, and a shot of Shawn Michaels doing some America Online interviews. Uh-oh. Shawn Michaels in cyberspace.
He's so good, man.
Oh, and they're letting us know that Shawn Michaels is going to come out later on to join them. And we're back to the ring for some more action. I think this is the tag team title match.
Look at the talent between those three. You got Paul Bear, ex Percy Pringle, got Mankind. Certainly Mick Foley. I mean, if I'm gonna do, that's the cool thing, the hip thing to do in wrestling, right? The Mount Rushmore. But for me, Mick is 100% on there. I just love him and his all three faces of Foley and his work in Japan and ECW and everything. I mean, he's just so smart.
Yeah, this gimmick right here, the Mankind, I love this. When he came in, he's committing with shaving the head like he's ripping his hair out of his head, and he just came in and just started beating the Undertaker right away, and now he has Paul Bearer on his side, which is like, okay, so Paul Bearer's gonna leave the Undertaker after 7 years and go with Vader and Mankind.
So Mick's gonna team with Vader, who a couple years before this in Germany with WCW, Vader Irish whipped Mick into the turnbuckle. Mick Foley took that infamous bump over the top and gets caught and loses his ear. So these two
Yeah.
are not strangers.
No, they know each other very well. Oh, and here comes the tag team champions,
Yeah,
Owen Hart and the British Bulldog. And the British Bulldog is also the new European champion. And don't forget to say that Owen
huh,
Hart is
goddamn,
a two two-time Slammy winner. Oh, JR is trying to figure out the dissension between the team because there's a lot of heat going on between Bulldog and Owen Hart.
ECW shirt in the crowd, front row. Well, goddamn, what do you think? I'm phoning it in? Are you shitting me?
Yeah, on March 3rd they had a European Championship match, which was the final from the tournament. So it was the crowning the first ever European champion, and the match was actually between Owen Hart and the British Bulldog. They had a great match. Bulldog won the title, and Raw actually ended that night with Owen teasing like a turn on the Bulldog. And actually, the next week on Raw, there's some more dissension going down. Owen and Bulldog are coming down for a tag match, and JR comes down to try to interview, just like he did here. And Owen just keeps blowing him off, teasing more dissension. Just trying to see that Owen Hart is kind of pissed off at the Bulldog for winning the match. And the week before here, March 17th, Bulldog was actually in a one-on-one against Vader, and he was about to power slam Vader as Mankind came down and DQ'd Bulldog, or DQ'd, and then Bulldog grabbed the urn from Paul Bearer and actually smacked Vader and Mankind with it. But there's a lot of dissension going on. There's a lot of jealousy, I think. More so looks like it's coming from Owen Hart. That's kind of how they're making it seem.
Four great talents in the ring. Uh, you talk about the urn. I mean, that's why I love pro wrestling, man. I mean, like I'll sit here and believe anything you want me to. It's if you do it well and you believe it, us as fans, we'll hop into it. And if the urn is controlling Mick Foley or Mankind at the time or the Undertaker, and that's part of pro wrestling. There's that realism to it that we also enjoy, but we're not afraid to go head first into a storyline that's just pure entertainment either.
Exactly. And I mean, here's Paul Bearer just adding just a little bit extra to this match too. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, that's why I love when some of us wrestling fans, we get on the old Twitter machine or whatever, and we're shitting on something like, really? Are you really the Undertaker is a dead man and he throws lightning bolts from the ceiling, and you love that. So everyone just chill out, enjoy the show. Come on. Shit.
yeah. Let's just suspend your disbelief, for a little bit.
God,
Check your brain.
I still
Check
love
your
the
brain at the door.
yeah. I still love the old retro Titantrons and just that 13 with the purple. I know the Titantrons and the entrance ramps now are always a big deal, but I like the simple stuff, even here back in the day.
Yeah, I don't need the huge stage or anything like that. This is good enough for me. You got the blimp flying around in the crowd. Oh,
Nice power
nice
bomb by
power bomb
Vader.
from Vader. Oh yeah.
They always said Vader would keep his wrestling gear in great shape. It would never smell in his wrestling bag.
Yeah, I guess that was the biggest complaint about Vader.
Mick's
Uh-oh.
over there pulling his own hair out.
Setting up for a Vader bomb. Oh, here comes the
You
Bulldog.
know what, dude? And we haven't we haven't talked about this at all. But I think one of our watch-alongs, if we're gonna do one in the future, could be that famous King of the Deathmatch series of matches over in Japan, where the culmination would be Cactus Jack and Terry Funk in the main event. I think that would be a fun watch-along.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a good tournament. I don't think I ever knew anything about Cactus Jack or any of that type of deathmatch stuff until I saw that as a kid. I remember getting that as like a tape trading thing, and that was just like, oh my god, like what is this stuff?
Right,
Like I've never seen any of this before.
which adds to the coolness of that program.
Yeah, I got a timestamp now of 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 19 seconds. Just if anybody needs a timestamp.
Clubbing blow by Vader. They always said he was pretty stiff. Nice suplex by British Bulldog. Man, look at that.
Oh yeah, yeah. And some of those shots do look pretty stiff. So. great action here.
Mick Foley working that headlock, iconic Mankind mask. What'd you think of the Mankind character?
I liked it when he first came in. I thought it was cool. It was definitely different, kind of creepy. Not really sure what to expect from that guy, as you're sitting there looking at him and he's in the boiler and ripping his hair out and but he definitely came in and made a big impact and just Paul Bearer handing over the urn. Oh, tried to hit Davy Boy with it, but Davy Boy actually reversed that. Mankind almost looked like he kind of hit himself in the head with that a little bit.
I think Mankind's certainly one of the smartest pro wrestlers in the sense that he was able to really play to the fans' emotion and really knew how to, I mean, take you on a ride with a storyline and cut a promo that, he wouldn't yell and scream at you, but he would suck you in. And I always look at that Kane Dewey promo in ECW that he would cut. I mean, good Lord. That's when you really see the artist of Mick come out.
Oh, yeah. Vader's back in. Big suplex.
That is impressive, man. What do you think Vader is? 4 bills at least?
350, 400 at least.
He's got that double cheese, double onion,
double mayonnaise.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, and Corny actually used to be there with Vader. Now he's got Paul Bearer.
Yeah, that's at this time, isn't it? Or close to. Cornette and Vader.
Yeah, maybe a little bit after this.
So, how long until
looking
that
for a big splash?
crappy over the edge situation where Owen Hart tragically fell to his death? How long after this show is that? Do you know what year that is? Is it 99?
Well, that was in. I believe it was 98, 99.
Okay.
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
But man, I mean, certainly Owen Hart, sky's the limit as far as the talent that he had. Life cut way too short.
He was one of the best.
Nice leg drop by
him and Brett
Mick.
when him and Brett had some matches back in the day, like WrestleMania 10 era. I mean, it's just amazing the talent that he had. Yeah, that was in 1999. It was May 23rd, 1999.
Big clubbing blow by Vader.
Just trying to work the Bulldog down. I mean, even next to Vader, Bulldog still looks pretty damn big.
Yeah, sadly, I mean, out of the talent that's in and around the ring, we only have
Oh,
Mick Foley still
big
with us.
power slam off the top rope.
Oh, nice bump.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that's right. Out of all 5 of these guys, there's only one that's actually still with us. A great drop kick from the top rope. Owen Hart sends Vader into the ring.
For the majority of this pay-per-view, though, I mean, as you watch the crowd, man, they're pretty much dead. No fault to the guys in the ring, but the WWF's still holding on to that hokey kind of gimmick style wrestlers. Just coming out of that, I think it was a good call, certainly by Vince, to start repping up the realism. coming into the
Yeah,
Attitude Era.
they needed to with everything going on with the NWO, and WCW was really hitting on all fronts, and WWF was definitely sitting in the wayside here, and they had a lot of great talent, but they didn't really have a lot of great storylines going on, and you could see that with the main event. I mean, they didn't
Nice
really even
cactus
want to go
elbow.
with the Undertaker Psycho Sid, but it was almost like that's kind of what they had to go with this year.
Oh,
But
good
that
right
definitely made
hand
it.
by Mick
Oh yeah,
Foley.
I love these old mats too. The blue mats
So
on
do
the
I.
outside
That's a great point. So do I.
with the steel guardrails. I mean, just a great look. Trying to get him over the top rope there. Uh oh.
Don't put
Suplex
it
to the
past Mick
outside.
Foley to
Uh oh.
take this bump.
I know. I thought he might have.
Nice slingshot. The year after this, we would see it would be Cactus Jack at the time with Terry Funk, Chainsaw Charlie, and in that dumpster match with the New Age Outlaws.
Oh yeah. And look, they're right out here by Stu and Helen
Stu,
Hart.
yeah.
A
God
give
damn
the
it,
Rhino a chance.
your mask stinks like shit.
Paul Bear on the outside, just
How
smiling,
good was he?
trying to calm the crowd down.
Look at him.
And 18,197 fans in attendance.
Or as Vince McMahon would say, 93,800 fans.
Might as well go with a clean 100,000.
At WrestleMania. How good is Vince? I mean, all these allegations coming out, and the first thing he does is like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be live on SmackDown tonight." A couple weeks ago, you gotta love him.
He's definitely like the greatest wrestling promoter ever. I
Oh,
mean,
certainly. I mean, he is
you
the
can
game.
say what you want. You can say what you want about Vince. Oh, good spinning heel kick. You can say what you want about him, and he's this, he's that. He holds talent back, and but that's coming from people that they just want to see everything that they can think about. You can't just do everything every week. You have to let things play out, and Vince is great at that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point is, being a pro wrestling fan, you need to agree to the fact that you're gonna go on a ride. You're gonna have some times where, you know, maybe WrestleMania 13's card isn't great, but you stick it out for the great moments. I mean, you have Hart and Austin gonna go on here in a few minutes, uh, but think about all the great moments that Vince McMahon and the WWE has given us over the years. I mean, Mankind going off the cell, Shawn and Taker, their matches. I mean, just great moments, and certainly just something you have to accept as a wrestling fan. You know, not every show is going to be great, but you stick it out because when pro wrestling is really really good, to me, man, and to you, there's nothing better. Nice spinning heel kick by Owen. They said
Yeah,
Owen would
he
do
has a great spinning heel kick.
like funny ribs just to pass the time. Uh,
Yeah,
I
even like
remember,
during the match.
yeah. I remember during one interview, I forget who it was, but they said that Owen would call their hotel room and then bring them down and tell them that he'd be on the hotel lobby phone and he'd challenge them to a fight. Say it's with Vader, right? I mean, get your big fat ass down here. I'm wearing a yellow shirt with blue jeans on and white sneakers, and that's the hotel lobby's outfit. The worker there, and then you got Big Vader coming down saying, raising hell. I mean, no one has a bad thing to say about Owen.
No, everything is always good, and it's always just like fun, wholehearted humor. Nothing like ribs like that. He's hurting people or doing stuff like that. It's just all just fun stuff. Oh, here comes the Bulldog with the hot tag, taking everybody out. Uh-oh, Vader's mask fell off.
Oh my God.
He probably took it off. He's like, this thing freaking stinks. Uh-oh, boom, right into the ring post.
It's crazy to think all the punishment that Mick's been through at this time, and then I mean, goddamn, when did him and Edge had at WrestleMania 22? They had their hardcore match. I mean, he's still maybe the best hardcore match of all time. He's still able to go out there and do that. I mean, this guy was a lifelong journeyman wrestler and just one of the best, man. Love me some Mick Foley.
Yeah, he
Oh,
had
crazy bump,
so many.
ugly bump over
That was great. It's like Vader threw Owen Hart into Bulldog, and oh, Mankind has the mandible claw on the Bulldog on the outside of the ring.
Mr. Sacco.
And not quite Sacco yet. No, Owen Hart trying to stop that. Here comes Vader
Full
with
out
a
of
big
steam.
stiff blow.
Oh, jeez, right on the chin.
It looks like he's taking Bulldog out right now. I mean, trying to isolate him.
You got both teams outside. Ref's trying to. Mick won't let go. Paul Bear is in there in the chaos.
Yeah, it looks like Bulldog's passed out on the floor. And it just ended in a DQ.
Double count out?
Or yeah, it looks like a double count out.
Good lord.
So Mankind and Vader look to be celebrating, but they didn't win the titles, so I'm not sure what they're celebrating.
Definitely a
So
weird
Bulldog
finish,
and
but
Owen.
puts the
Yeah,
puts the heat on the heels or whatever as they cause the double count out, and here you see the two baby faces and supporting each other.
yeah, it's almost like,
Taking the
well,
straps back.
how did that match even end? And actually, the next night on Raw after this, March 24th, starts off with the tag team title match between the Headbangers and Bulldog and Owen. During the match, they actually show the Legion of Doom on a split screen, who will be getting a title shot at the next pay-per-view on April 20th against whoever the tag team champions still may be. During the match, though, Bulldog shoves the ref for a no DQ, so they keep the titles, but Bulldog and Owen actually go at it in the ring. So still more dissension is being teased at that time. But the Headbangers won the match earlier. They go on to Raw and they don't even get a chance at the titles because Bulldog just gets himself DQ'd. So, oh, and here's some clips of some Austin and Bret Hart going at it here.
And here we go, man. I mean, this is certainly the moment we've been waiting for. All of our listeners here at the Hard&Soft Pro Wrestling Podcast have been waiting for. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart in a submission match. One of the, certainly main events of this card. You could really see, I mean, okay, Bret is a made man. I mean, he's the hitman.
Oh
He's one of
yeah.
the best of all time to this point. He's been the champ, and you know, I'm sure he had a lot to do with wanting to work with Steve at this WrestleMania. As you could see, Steve Austin is coming into his own as the Stone Cold character. You know, before this, he cuts that King in the Ring, Austin 316 says "I'll whip your ass" promo, and I mean, a lot of people will overreact with certain things, but that promo really does live up to what everyone says. I mean, it was a grand slam by Steve Austin and really catapulted him. I mean, you could just see the emotion that he would bring after that into everything that he did. His promos leading up to this match were awesome, and he would make his entrance, to the ring, and I mean, he just stole the show,
Oh yeah, I mean Stone Cold in
and
this
he
era.
would become one of the biggest stars ever. There's Ken
I
Shamrock
mean this night
looking
right
pretty
here
gassed
too
up.
with the oh yeah he is massive.
He's on he's on every bit of Mexican supplement you could find.
Usually they don't want the referees to be bigger than the wrestlers, but in this case, I mean, how can you really help it?
All right, I want to. I'm interested to see the crowd as Austin makes his. I mean, this is. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Chris. This is. I think everyone knows it's a big time match, and I'm sure a lot of people wanted to come see this, but no one is ready for what they're about to see.
No one's
I
prepared.
mean,
Oh,
how
here
could
we
you be?
go. The glass breaks. I mean, that entrance
Look
right
at
there
that!
when they
Fuck
had the
yeah, dude!
Austin 316 and then it just shattered and he comes through it. I mean, that is freaking just awesome.
And here we go. The crowd is, as we said, dead. Not no more, baby. Here we go.
No.
They know
And
it's
the
it's
reason
it's
they were
asking
dead
time.
is yeah, they were dead because they were waiting for this match to start. And the crazy thing is, right now going into the match, Stone Cold is supposed to be the heel, and Bret Hart is
Yep.
supposed to be the sympathetic babyface because he's been getting screwed and screwed and screwed. It's funny, on February 24th edition of Raw, it was the first time they showed Ken Shamrock in the crowd, and later in the night, Lawler tried to go over and interview Shamrock, and he was interviewing him and acting as if Lawler had trained Shamrock basically for all of his fights, and Shamrock just kept on acting like I have no idea who this guy is. I've never met this guy in my life. Lawler was just getting pissed, and then finally he just walked away.
Here comes the Hitman. I love Lawler too when he would go to ECW and he had that feud with Tommy Dreamer and all them. That was some good shit. Here comes Brett. God, I mean,
Oh yeah,
his presentation was money too. I love that
Bret was the
entrance.
best. His entrance theme song was great. I mean, yeah, he comes out. He just looks like $1 million. Yeah, March 3rd, when Raw was in Germany, Bret Hart went against Triple H. There's actually a funny moment in that match because the fans were throwing stuff in the ring at Triple H, and like a teddy bear came in. Triple H actually picked the teddy bear up and punted it back into the crowd. Pretty good moment. They had so much good footage though, and good setup for this match. Just between like having Austin promos and Bret Hart promos. I mean, Bret Hart going into this was just complaining about everything. He got screwed at everything. He got screwed at the Royal Rumble, at the Final Four. Then Austin screwed him for the title against Sid.
And here we go.
So I mean, oh, it doesn't even get a chance to start off as an actual wrestling match. I mean, these two are just ready to go at it.
Classic brawl style start, hot start.
Right to the outside.
One thing that was cool about Brett was, obviously he would give those trademark glasses away. I don't know if you know this though. He would actually write. This is cool, pretty cool by Brett. Would write like the date, the arena, and the event in Sharpie on those glasses. So
Oh, that's awesome.
one first row kid would go away with a pretty iconic piece of wrestling memorabilia. These two brawling here on the outside. I mean, look at the crowd now.
Yep.
You can't help but
They're
be
about
into
to
it. I
be
mean,
right in front of Brett's parents. Yeah, these two really pulled out
two
all the
dudes at the
stops
peak of
here.
their career.
Stone Cold,
Brett's one of
a
the
big
all-time
vicious,
best sellers too.
clothesline right over. So
Oh,
good.
Tony Atlas, get out of there, Captain Lou.
Oh, hey, I guess those seats weren't. I guess they did get those seats all night. Yeah, Austin had so many good promos leading up to this pay-per-view, though. I mean, just the way he gets on the mic and just talks trash and runs people down. It's amazing. Oh, look at it. Takes a sip of the soda and then throws it on Bret Hart.
It's crazy to think too. I mean, Austin just came back at this year's WrestleMania and main event at night one, and did
Oh,
some
and
crazy shit.
he basically had this same exact match against
Yep,
Kevin Owens. Well, not the same exact match, but a very short version of this match.
took a big
I mean, and this is
suplex
probably
bump in the
why they had.
crowd, and
Oh, he's about to take. He was trying to take the cup holder from the concession stand guy. Yeah, I think
Shamrock
like they had to
316
have
son.
like a guy like Shamrock as the referee because
Yeah,
like
I mean, who's gonna test
obviously
him? That's a good point.
and plus like every other match kept getting counted out and DQ'd. I mean, if you just had a regular referee, this match would have already been over on a count out. But you got Shamrock in there, he's letting him go. Oh, we got an NWO fan right there.
Yeah, helping out security a little bit, which is a smart move. Match taken into that brawl style, which these two certainly could have, and is. I mean, look at this. I mean, very believable. Two
Oh,
dudes that are super hot at the time. Austin going for a pile driver, big backdrop, probably on steps, which
oh,
is
probably.
you could only
And
imagine
I
felt
thought the only
fantastic.
guys you thought were hot were the Hardys.
Huh? Come on, man. Yeah, I
Sassafras.
mean, okay, so I'm huge Hardy Boy fans. I'm a huge Jeff Hardy mark, and as soon as I wait in line for 2 hours, and as soon as I'm about to meet my two heroes, my nice older brother has to tell them that I basically have masturbated my whole life to those two guys. So thank you very much for ruining my moment.
The
You're
funny
always
thing
there to
is,
do that.
Jeff Hardy was cracking up. He thought it was great.
Oh yeah, looks like Brett going for his patented elbow drop. Nice. Brett could really
Oh
do it
yeah.
all. I mean, he wasn't as dynamic as Shawn Michaels, but certainly maybe the best technical wrestler to ever do this.
Oh my
Big
God,
bump into the steps.
storytelling, and I mean, it, it's just Bret Hart could put on a good match with anybody. It didn't matter who was in there with him. He could have a good match with, because he had good matches with Undertaker, Sid, Vader, Michaels, Austin, like everybody. It didn't matter who you were.
Yeah, it really was an art form to him, and he took a lot of pride in that. You see
And
Austin really
actually,
coming.
the Raw right before this on, I think it
Ooh,
was
ugly
March
bump by
17th.
Austin.
Oh yeah, yeah, March 17th. There was a steel cage match between Bret Hart and Psycho Sid for the WWF title, and that was going to be 1 week before this. So during that match, Austin came down trying to make sure that Bret would win the title, so that this was going to be the match for the title. So that was like in the storyline as well, that possibly Bret Hart will win the title and this will be for the title then. But during that match as well, Undertaker came down to try to make sure that Bret Hart wouldn't win, and Sid ended up climbing over the cage and winning. Um, Raw actually went off the air that night with Sid coming back down to the ring, Undertaker, Austin coming back down to the ring. All four of them were just brawling each other. Shawn Michaels came down, grabbed a chair, and was trying to like settle things down in the ring, which is funny because 4, 5, 6 weeks before that he's given up the title because he lost his smile, and now he's coming back to make sure that he's still in the picture at WrestleMania, just at least still on the TV.
Yeah, I mean it's well documented. Shawn is was not in a good place physically, mentally. Definitely, uh, I don't want to say carrying the company on his back, but definitely, I mean, beating himself up night in, night out for the WWF at this time. So, look, man, I mean,
Yeah.
as I sit here in an Austin and HBK T-shirt, I'm a huge mark for both guys. I love the Heartbreak Kid, but yeah, man, I mean, like he said, he never set out to be the most hated man in wrestling, but at one point he obtained that title.
Yeah, and they said for the first 90 minutes of the show, the crowd was dead, just like we said. And then the second these guys are coming down, the crowd just went crazy. They're putting on a clinic, storytelling and how to use emotions to the fans and using the fans to your advantage. I mean, Bret Hart is just going after the knee here, just setting up the sharpshooter for later on in the match. I mean, you don't
Which is
really see it.
classic stuff.
Everything he's
And
doing.
sorry to cut you off, Mr. Harding, but uh, I mean, also setting the stage, which is gonna come later on, that double turn where he's gonna turn heel. I mean, classic heel stuff going off after that body part, putting sympathy on Austin. As you can see, the crowd is like, can tell that he's really going to town on that knee and that leg.
Yeah, it's like every move that he's doing is it's doing something to that knee, making it worse and worse and worse. Just not doing moves just to do moves. Everything has
Right.
a meaning in this match. And it's pretty cool when the crowd is dead for the first 90 minutes, and the second that these two come down the ring, the place is going nuts.
Oh yeah, I mean it's 20 minutes of pure action. Nothing ever got boring. Every move they did made sense. Hart was incredible as the aggressive veteran that took it to Austin and showed no remorse when he was doing it. They really got over the idea that Bret didn't care about the fans or didn't care what the fans thought about his tactics. All he wanted to do was win. And Austin showed that kind of heart you want to see out of any babyface, even though he wasn't a traditional kind of babyface. When he made his comeback later
Yeah,
on
I
in
mean,
this match, the crowd was totally behind him, and they saw him take a tremendous beating and just keep on getting up and coming back, which is really the story of the Stone Cold character.
yeah, it's just like he's not gonna give up.
Cool
Austin will
trunks
just keep coming back.
with Bret. I think this is
Oh,
the coolest Bret Hart looked. I mean, that ring attire is cool. I might wear that to work tomorrow.
yeah, and the jacket that he came down wearing too with that logo on the back, just
Badass.
badass. Oh, here he comes bringing the ring bell in.
I wouldn't mind seeing you get a heart skull with the wings tattooed some part of your body.
Maybe my forehead.
Yeah, well,
I was thinking.
can't get any uglier.
Oh, here comes the steel chair. Ken Shamrock can't do anything about it. Again, I mean, he's got the ankle there, but he's still going after the same body part. He's going after that leg.
And at this point in wrestling in '97, I don't know if we
Oh.
seen a chair to the leg
During
like
the
that.
night.
Oh, big
Oh, I don't. Oh,
chair
yeah, the
shot.
where they're clamping the ankle in the chair. That's not a big time thing back here.
Yeah, Brett, no stranger to innovation and
Oh,
doing things
big
that you've
chair
never
shot.
seen.
I mean, look at Brett selling that chair shot. I mean,
Selling that chair shot the whole time. Austin selling the knee, selling the leg. He's already got it braced. Just great fucking shit, man. Excuse my language.
yeah, this is just storytelling at its best right here.
And like when you say storytelling at its best, and I don't want to put you on the spot or whatever, but I'm just interested. Like, what do you mean by that? I mean,
Just the
these
fact
two.
that it's like you're watching like a movie. There's a low point, there's a climactic point. You can like kind of tell the different parts of the match. I don't know. It's hard to explain since I don't really do it. I just watch it, but
But I think
it's just
to your
with
point.
with
To
them
your
selling the
point, as
body
we're
part.
right, right. You know,
They
there's
have the match is a submission match. So like the whole match now is showing how Bret Hart's trying to get Stone Cold to the point where he's going to give up from the sharpshooter.
right.
Oh, and they got Brett's daughter in the crowd
Great drama.
covering
I
her
mean,
face. Yeah.
to your point, man, I mean, the story is Brett's going after that knee. Austin has these spurts of offense where Brett shines him up, and then Brett will cut him off, man. It's a simple story. But like, me and you always say as we're just watching these shows, simpler the better, man. I mean, if we can follow it and we don't have to just like keep reacting to big moves and all, that's really where the magic is. And these two putting on a clinic
Yeah, this is great
when it comes to
wrestling.
that. And Stone Cold,
I mean, this is wrestling
many
from
times
19.
says that he credits his career to Brett making him.
Yeah, I think this night right here.
Shot
I
us too
mean,
hard.
if Stone Cold wasn't made already, he's made after this night. You know, after this night, he is a
Oh, I got the
superstar.
walls of Jericho. Shit,
He's cinching it in.
who knew Austin had this in his repertoire? I thought Austin
He's
had
pulling out stuff he doesn't really use a lot.
stomping, elbows, and a stunner.
He's a man of many holds. The Boston Crab right here. I had a little hiccup on my end. I have a time queue of 1 hour 37 minutes. Hopefully we are right on
I'm there
track.
too. 1 hour
I
37,
have Bret Hart.
20
I
seconds.
have Bret Hart
21,
reaching,
22.
reaching for the ropes. Oh, yep, there we go. Even though he didn't really have to let go of the hold, even though he got the ropes there. This is a no DQ match.
Rake of the eyes by Brett.
Oh, looks like Stone Cold is about to set up a sharpshooter.
Chris, give me a timer on where you're at here.
I'm at 137.48, 50, 51.
All right. For all you hard and soft subscribers listening in, we are 138.07.
Yes. Got Austin doing some jaw jacking to the crowd.
And to your
Maybe.
point of storytelling, I mean this, like, as you're watching this live, yes, we know this is, well, certainly not at this point, but even today we know this is sports entertainment and we are watching
Oh.
entertainment. But it's still cool to watch these matches and try and figure out who they're going to put over and who's going to win these matches. This one is pure gold in the fact that you can't tell who's going to win. I mean, you got Brett, the veteran, throughout this match kind of turning heel, doing some heelish stuff, and then you got Austin on the rise. You don't know who's going to win, and you can see the battle back and forth. I mean, it's just pure gold, man.
Oh,
As I'm watching this live, pretty much at the first time.
Austin is busted open.
Oh, bad too. The story is that they had talked about that, and Vince did not sign off on any kind of color, as color I think was banned at this time. But these two kind of went into business by themselves, and
I think Brett
I thought they
actually.
needed it.
I think Brett actually bladed Austin in this match. If I'm correct, I think that Austin said that he had Brett blade him for him.
And I think that now that you said that, I do remember an interview where Austin said that any repercussions Brett would take the brunt of the blame for this. Said
And
we needed
and to
this.
be honest, this finish would not have been the same without the blood.
I think
You know,
you're exactly right.
like it definitely is a great match without the blood. Doesn't even need it. But like with the finish that they're doing, how he's gonna pass out. I mean, it's like, he didn't just pass out. He passed out because he is just losing so much blood, and it's not because he wants to. It's because his body literally just shut down on him.
He's wearing the crimson mask, bleeding like a stuck pig.
And who better to do it than Bret Hart? I mean,
Yeah.
one of the safest guys in the business.
And then if we're not counting when Brett would come back and face Vince,
Oof.
years later. This is Brett's last WrestleMania appearance,
Yeah,
which is crazy to
and
think about.
that match was horrible. I used to love that Bret Hart elbow drop. Is honestly one of the best elbow drops. Oh, going back
And
after the
attacking the
leg now.
knee.
Yep.
Ooh, brutal looking shots too. Look at
Oh
those.
yeah.
Austin selling.
Look, they're not doing chair shots to the head, and those chair shots right there look so wicked, and they're not even doing chair shots to the head.
Here we go.
Oh, now
Brett's
he's going
setting up
for
the
the
sharpshooter,
sharpshooter.
sinking it in.
Uh-oh.
Austin
Right
trying
to
to
the eyes. He's trying to get out of
fighting,
that.
fighting for his life, dude. And that is, I mean, that is a lot of realism in that. I know it's a working thing that they're doing, but he's trying to sink in that sharpshooter. Austin won't have any of it. He's fighting his way out of it. It's just good shit, man. This stuff holds up to today.
Yeah, you could have this match today, and like I said, the match that Austin came back and did. I mean, that match this year at WrestleMania was amazing. You could literally say that was one of the best matches of the year. And I don't care if people don't agree with that, but that is true. That was a great match that Austin came back and did after not doing it for so long. I
Yeah, and I
mean,
think there's
no one could have done it better than Kevin Owens too.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, to your point, some of these old veterans. I mean, if you watch a professional wrestling show nowadays, and I'm
Ooh,
not shitting on the business where it is now. Certainly, there's some guys getting there, but no one gets a Rock or an Austin pop like back in the day.
no. And here goes Austin stomping a mud hole.
Doing what he does best, baby.
Oh, flipping him off. One final kick. Oh yeah. This is Austin right here. Just great.
As Michael Cole would say, vintage Steve Austin.
This is vintage
I know you
Austin.
love it. I know you love Michael Cole.
I love Michael Cole. Yeah, he's one
If
of
he
my
was,
favorite
if he,
announcers.
if Michael Cole was at a convention, are you getting an autograph? You have to.
Hmm. Is it only $30? So I really hope he's not going
Whatever
to
it
be
is,
charging hope he's not charging Sting money.
whatever it is, I'll pay for it. Big superplex by Steve.
Well then yeah, then I definitely have to go. Oh, and he's just
Meltzer
completely full of blood.
Meltzer would give that previous world tag team title match a rating of 2.5 stars. Famously, he would give this Bret Hart versus Stone Cold submission match a 5-star rating.
Now, is this the first 5-star rating he's given to a WWF match?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know that for sure. Um, like I said, I'm not the biggest Meltzer fan, so I don't really read the Observer. I don't know, but I almost believe that this could be the first match that he gave WWF a 5-star.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly puts a little bias into his ratings.
Oh, and here's Austin choking him out, and with the ring bell.
Great
I used to
shit.
love
I
the
mean,
ring bell shot.
but if you look at that shot, I mean, it looked great. But I can tell you this right now: I bet Austin didn't feel it one bit.
Oh no, probably
Just the
didn't
art
feel
of
it at
Bret
all.
Hart.
And I mean, this is a 5-star match. You can use whatever scale you use to rate matches. I mean, if there's one match that I'd agree with on Meltzer on this card, it's this match right
Sinking in
here.
the
Here we go.
sharpshooter.
Sinking in. The blood is just pooling up on the mat.
Great visual. Look at Austin,
Shamrock's
classic
right there in his
babyface
face.
move, digging in,
That's the scene right
digs
there.
in with his
That's
fingers
like
into the mat.
just knowing that he's not gonna give up. There's no way that Austin is gonna
The
give up.
crowd's with him. If you're wondering, Austin's in this for 1 minute and 47 seconds.
Wow. Wow.
Steve selling it well.
He's trying to
He's
get up
firing
again
back up.
here.
Look at him dig it in.
Right here,
Classic
he's gonna get
babyface
a
stuff. Look at
That's the
that.
shot. Blood pouring off his face. That's the shot right there. Trying to get out of it.
And certainly a hold that was over.
He breaks it.
Everyone believed in the sharpshooter.
He almost had it out. No. Bret
Brett
Hart
sinking
sinks
it
it
in
back
again.
in.
Shamrock there.
This is just great. I mean, if you're watching along with us, then you can see what's going on. But if you're not, and I know a lot of people don't want to sit down and watch a 2.5, 3 hour long wrestling pay per view, and I can feel that.
Besides us.
But if you, yeah, but if you have 25, 30 minutes to sit down and watch one match from this card, you need to watch this. Bret, he just passed out. Stone Cold just passed out. Bret Hart is the winner.
Bret Hart's
Austin's
the
laying in a
winner,
pool of his own blood.
but it's worth mentioning that Austin did not give up. His body gave
No,
way.
he
He
did
ended up
not.
passing out from the sharpshooter after fighting it. Sitting there, and as Austin would say, almost orgasmic, sitting there listening to this crowd after
Oh
he
yeah.
knew what they
I
just
mean, this
did.
reaction is great. The crowd is just crapping on Bret Hart.
And again, Brett showing how much of a veteran and how he knows the wrestling business in and out. He's going to come back and really sink in the fact that he is now going to be a heel, and they're going to do this double turn to
Yeah, it's like
perfection.
the fans are actually still with Brett. Actually, right here, I thought they were against him already, but they're actually still with him at this point. And right here is kind of when,
Here he goes again,
boom,
going after that knee.
the fans realize,
Their Canadian
nope, he's
hero.
not letting it go.
You had the guy beat, and now you're doing this to him. And now Shamrock,
Oh, Shamrock hits him with a belly
big
to
body
back.
slam. The crowd pops. But now look at this. The art and the knowledge and the brain of Brett. Look. Cowards away.
Mm-hmm.
Backs down from
Because
the
that's
fight
what
like a true heel. Look at the crowd
a
saying, come
heel
on,
would
go ahead
do.
and hit him. Tremendous booking. Brett goes out of there. Takes a look at the crowd. Great shit.
Yeah, the next night on Raw, Brett's gonna come out and he's gonna cut a promo saying that he apologizes to the fans across the world. Oh, he's flipping fans off on the way back. He apologizes to the fans across the world, but the fans in America can kiss his ass. And that's gonna start off a whole Hart Foundation run. Good shot of Austin right here coming too. He's got Mike Chioda trying to pick him up, help him out. Oh, thanks for the help, and here's a stunner.
Bang. And look at the pop from the crowd. I mean, he just passed out. He's wearing that crimson mask. He doesn't want any help.
And the crowd's just going nuts for Austin then after
Right
this,
there
as
in
he's
front of
going back.
Vince. And a year later, he'd win the title.
Yeah, a year later right here, he'd be main eventing this event and winning the title. And do it in a big way against Shawn Michaels. And, he had Ken Shamrock as the special guest referee here. At the next year, he's going to have the special enforcer of Mike Tyson, which is pretty cool.
It was a simple story of a guy showing a lot of heart that kept on fighting and earned the respect of everybody watching the match. The never say die attitude of Stone Cold is what made him the huge draw that he would become. Without this match at WrestleMania 13, who knows if he would ever have reached that level. Now, I mean, look, I don't think anyone is going to sit down and say that Austin wasn't going to be who Steve Austin was going to be at some point, but this is certainly his coming out party.
Oh yeah. I mean, this solidified him as the crowd favorite right here. As some people in the crowd still might not have been on his side. Now, now with this, I mean, look at the look at the blood in the ring left
Just
behind.
awe-inspiring.
My God.
JR would call this match just perfectly executed. Uh, and I know we're watching this without the volume on, but JR, if you go back and watch this, I mean, JR does a great job putting this story over.
Oh yeah, the comment. Yeah, that's one thing we're missing with the watch along here is the commentary in the background. I mean, I have the closed captions up here, but you can't capture actually the emotion that's going on in this match. And yeah,
That's a good
JR
idea,
is just
actually.
putting this
Closed
over like
captions.
crazy.
Why didn't you smart me up to that?
Well, I didn't. I thought you were the smarter one here.
Well, I don't know. Apparently not.
And
Thank you
after
very
that
much.
match, how can you come back after that match?
Yeah,
Like
you certainly need to
what do
let me
you
up.
do as a performer? Yeah, well here's your let me up. It's the Nation versus Ahmed and the Legion.
But again, I mean, this is a cool story. You got
Oh wow, yeah.
you're gonna have some gimmick stuff in this match, which is what you want to throw in there. I mean, you just had a hell of a 5-star encounter. You need something to take your mind off things and watch something different, which this match does.
Yeah, this
So
is a great little.
post match, Brett refused to relinquish the hold, so Shamrock pulled him off. And in case you were wondering, I was wrong. Austin was in the sharpshooter for 1 minute and 45 seconds.
Oh jeez, I can't believe you.
The crowd
Oh, here
popped for
comes the.
Brett.
I was just gonna cut you off real quick. Here comes the Nation, and they got the PG-13 rapping for him coming down the ring. Okay, go ahead.
Is that who that is? Because I was watching some shows
Well,
before
it's
this,
what they call
some pay per
themselves.
views
It's what
leading
they
up.
call themselves. They were just a tag team
Okay,
that came from Smoky Mountain Wrestling. That they're not like the actual rap group or anything like that. That's just their gimmick here.
all right.
But they always came down and did
I see
the rap
D'Lo
song, and
Brown there.
yeah, D'Lo, what a great guy he is.
This certainly had the ECW feel to it.
Yeah,
And I'm
this
not
is
even talking about the weapons or the gimmicks. Like just this presentation here with everyone in the ring and D'Lo's out there, and just had that. You could see the
just the madness.
transition coming. Yeah.
The madness of it all. They started getting a lot more factions here right in this era too. I mean, the
To
Nation's a
circle
big
back
group
to
right
the
here.
Austin Hart, real quick.
Yeah.
Uh, the crowd popped for Brett as he posed on the turnbuckles. Brett attacked again as Austin was lying in the pool of his own blood. Brett grabbed his left leg and kicked it some more. To, Brett then went to apply the sharpshooter again. Shamrock gave him the belly to belly to a big pop by the crowd, which, again, Vince is there. He's watching that. He's seeing Shamrock has some sort of, there's money to him. Shamrock wanted to fight. Instead, Brett just walked away. Classic cowardly heel move. Brett looked at the crowd, giving them the "you make me sick" face, and you know some birds being flipped as he left the building. Austin pulled himself up and a Stone Cold Stunner to referee Mike Chioda. The crowd gave him a nice face pop for that. Austin stumbled out of the ring, hobbled back as the crowd gave him a standing ovation, chanting "Austin, Austin, Austin." So a very favorable and memorable ending to a fantastic match. Again, Meltzer would give it 5 stars. Definitely the match that stole the show. Now we see Ahmed Johnson and the Legion of Doom making their walk. Hell, man, Legion of Doom still a
Ahmed
big deal.
Johnson. Oh my God, yeah, they are. And Ahmed Johnson coming down with that 2x4. Ho!
Ho! Nice.
Yeah, there was a lot of lead up to this match. I mean, they had a lot of interactions on Raw and everything. It was mostly just back and forth. One week, the Nation gets beat down. The next week, Ahmed Johnson would get beat down. On February 24th episode of Raw, the main event was Farouk versus The Undertaker. Farouk hit The Undertaker with a pile driver, and the Undertaker just stood right up from it. He totally no sold that. The Nation ran in, but the Legion of Doom came down to even the score as Raw went off the air. So they're trying to get like the whole storyline going with Ahmed and the Legion of Doom. Um, let's
And here we
see.
go.
Oh
Savio
wow.
Vega's in there as well.
Yep, Savio and Crush.
And just think, I mean, no disrespect to Savio Vega, but the Mania before this, I believe it was Austin as what was his gimmick when he was the
The
$1 million,
Ringmaster.
the Ringmaster. So you got the Ringmaster versus Savio Vega, and then 1 year later you got, Stone Cold propelling himself as the face of the company. So, like we said, man, things happen quick, especially in 1997.
And the LOD and Ahmed Johnson are just taking out everybody right here. They're taking out all the other members of the Nation. Yeah, and Austin actually credits Savio Vega too for uh, making his career too, because I guess they had a lot of matches up and down the roads before he actually got big here. Yeah, March 17th episode of Raw started off with LOD versus the Nation, and they were showing backstage Ahmed Johnson doing a little promo. Farouk came out and attacked him backstage. After that, Farouk went to the ring, and him and the Nation were beating the LOD down until Ahmed came down, and he actually made the save with the 2x4, which is, I guess, another reason why he came down holding that 2x4 tonight. Just total mayhem going on everywhere. Camera just keeps going back and forth. Everybody's fighting in a little different area here. Got Hawk and Savio in the ring at the moment. Oh, Hawk almost decapitated Savio Vega with that 2x4.
What do you think Vince was thinking when that 2x4 went up in the air?
Oh, God damn, it's going to go in the crowd.
God damn it! Oh, got a little
this guy's got
announce
a
table action.
this guy's got a sign with Ahmed's face on it that says "I'm a bum." Oh wow, here comes a pile driver onto the announce table, onto the French announce table.
Oh, Francois, hey.
Okay, well,
All
I hate
right.
to point out a bad botch, but that was a pretty bad pile driver.
Yeah, the crowd might take a shit on the rest of the match after that.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't think everybody expected a five-star match out of this one. Um, so one of the main undercard matches was the Chicago Street Fight. Obviously, it's featuring Ahmed Johnson, Legion of Doom going against the Nation of Domination, which is Farouk, Crush, and Savio Vega. Johnson was attacked by a newcomer, Farouk Assad, a Roman gladiator, on July 22nd, 1996 edition of Raw during the match for the WWF Tag Team Championship. Ahmed was scheduled to defend his Intercontinental Championship against Farouk at SummerSlam, but Ahmed had legitimate kidney problems, which forced him to vacate the Intercontinental Championship. In the storyline, Farouk had caused Ahmed's kidney problem. He returned from his injury in early '97 and continued with Farouk, who had formed the Nation of Domination during Ahmed's injury. Ahmed joined forces with the Gang Fighters Legion of Doom, and LOD were scheduled to wrestle Nation of Domination in Chicago Street Fight at WrestleMania 13. And that's pretty much how it all accumulated. A big year-long feud between Ahmed and Farouk. And it's going to keep going after this match as well.
Yeah, Meltzer would give this 3.5 stars. So again, Meltzer
And that's pretty
liked
generous,
the effort.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, the guys put in good effort. It just is what it
oh,
is with
big body
so many
slam by.
people. Yeah, that. Oh,
I mean,
big
you have a
trash
hell of a
can
lot of
shot.
talent here. I mean, you got the Road Warriors. You got Ron Simmons, who was the first black heavyweight champ, right, with WCW. I mean, some big time talent.
Yeah,
And again, after you put Brett and Austin on, you need something before you know your main event to let the
And this was
crowd,
definitely
like
good.
Vince would say,
This was
let me up.
definitely a good moment for that. Come down here, do a bunch of weapons and stuff like that. And plus, you got Legion of Doom here. I mean, it, who doesn't want to see the Legion of Doom come down and kick some ass? Oh, replay of that body slam through the table. Uh-oh, looks like a fire extinguisher just got set off in the background. Ahmed Johnson getting back in the ring. Got Farouk coming in, throwing in some pretty bent up trash cans.
Is that a beer to
Uh-oh.
the face? I always like that, man. The old beer to the face spot.
Uh-oh, now they got
Some
a
live
rope in here.
some
They're about
live
to
shows
choke Ahmed
we've seen
Johnson
that.
out.
It always gets a nice little pop.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the best beer in the face was definitely that show at Taya Valkyrie when that guy was yelling obscenities at her and spit on her, and then she came over and smacked the beer right out of his hand. Oh,
Bang,
oh
double
man,
clothesline.
they got Farouk choking him out over here in the middle of the ring. Yeah, I got a time code of 2 hours and 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
I don't know how I'm doing this, man, but I'm ahead of you. Give me your time code again.
Oh, I'm at 2 minutes and 2 seconds, or 2 hours and 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh,
Are you far ahead of me?
let me pause. Yeah, I'm racing you. I'm
Maybe
pausing
my
a little bit.
maybe your connection's a little faster.
Well, what do you have? The
I bet.
fucking the slow peacock? Come on, man.
I guess
Shit.
I do. Uh-oh, they got the Horizon Stadium main parking sign. Boom! Right to Farouk. Farouk has just been parked. Oh,
Savio
now they're
Vega,
going back
Ahmed
into the
outside.
crowd. Going back to the crowd.
Another shot to the head of Farouk.
Boom!
Good lord. I mean,
Animal
we got
just.
a noose in the ring. We got street signs. We got trash
Yeah, now we got
cans.
Hawk. Now we got Hawk tied up in the ropes with the noose here.
Like, really, what is that ref there to do?
I think just to like kick some weapons out of the ring so they don't fall on him or something. I have no idea. See, really, all he's doing is walking back and forth. Oh, you got the whole nation members on the outside attacking Ahmed. Crush is just giving it to Animal in the middle of the ring here.
Again, I'm a huge ECW mark. It's cool to see some ECW shirts in the crowd here.
Yeah, you got the ECW, the BWO shirts. It's nice.
BWO.
Yep, a little BWO action. That's what I'm rocking tonight.
Hell yeah.
Blue Meanie, one of the best guys out there. I mean, if you're ever gonna get to go to a convention and you have a chance to meet the Blue Meanie, I mean, he's so nice to you, and just a real class act guy. Just a lot of action going on the outside here.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I certainly feel this way as I go to those conventions and the meet and greets. I mean, I love going, but I also don't want to mark out too much and have these guys get annoyed. So it's cool when someone like Meanie appreciates you coming and doesn't make you feel bad or whatever and
Huh. Now
says some nice
Farouk is
things to you.
tied up in the noose.
Get that noose out of the. I'm not a big noose guy.
Yeah, not really sure because it's not
Cheese
really
grater.
accomplishing anything. Oh yeah,
I'll
give me
take
a
a
good
pizza cutter
cheese
here and
grater,
there.
maybe a Super Nintendo across the head or something. I don't know.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. We will see a kitchen sink in this match, correct? I
They
think.
did. Legion of Doom did have one in their hands as they were coming down the ring.
We need a
And
fire
the old
extinguisher.
old phrase is everything but the kitchen sink. Well, sometimes the kitchen sink's even added.
Big spine buster by Ahmed.
I hope you got Hawk on the outside, just spraying a crush with the fire extinguisher. Uh-oh, looks like he's trying to set up for the Pearl River plunge. You got the cotton candy guy in the background. Uh-oh, the rest of the nation isn't going to let that happen. Got D'Lo in the ring before he really started wrestling in the nation.
Big bump. I mean, ch- cheers to these guys going out there. They just witnessed a great match by 5-star match by Austin and Brett. They go out here and have, you know, show great effort. They're working their ass off.
Oh, double 2x4 hit to Crush for the pin. Oh, and it looks like they got the victory. So the winners here, Ahmed Johnson and the LOD, but not looking like winners when the rest of the nation is coming in and attacking. Oh, Ahmed Johnson about to hit the Pearl River plunge. Oh, right in the middle of the ring. Okay, the nation tried to come in and attack, but LOD and here we go. The Doomsday device. We're getting set up. Uh-oh. And Ahmed's getting the other one set up. We're going for a double Doomsday device. Off the top rope. Hit them both. There we go. They won the match. They got attacked after the match. But they turned it around and just hit a double Doomsday device. I mean, there's nothing better than seeing the Legion of Doom victorious at a WrestleMania and hitting the Doomsday device. And yeah, if we got to put up with a little bit of Ahmed Johnson. Well, there's a good shot of Ahmed Johnson. He's got his whole cheek hanging out of his tights.
Ha! Do
Real
do
nice.
do.
Sassafras. As you can tell, we're big JR fans and fans of Conrad Thompson's podcast as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, that is why kind of we've decided to do this. I mean, look, if you're listening, and I'm sure this is our first go around. Bear with us here, but this is something that we've wanted to do, and I'm super pumped that we're doing it. I mean, it's just fun to have a hobby like this to go ahead, watch some pro wrestling, and just
Yeah, we are. We got a couple
what we
ideas for
do
other.
normally anyway.
Yeah, I mean, usually I'm watching a wrestling pay-per-view every night anyway, or maybe an old Raw or maybe an old Nitro. Um, we definitely have a couple ideas of some other shows that we're gonna do in the future. They're not all gonna be 2.5, 3 hour long podcasts. We're not gonna watch full pay-per-views every time, but I think the next episode that we're gonna do is going to be part of a feud between Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I think we're gonna start around the time when Shawn Michaels first came back in that 2002 run, and we're gonna do a lot of lead up into that match, and then what we're gonna do is actually watch that match. I think it was an unsanctioned match, was it, between Shawn Michaels
Unsanctioned
and
wrestling
Triple
match
H?
at SummerSlam in 2002. No disqualification, and it was Shawn's return match as, like you said, he came back from that back injury after being gone for so long. And I'm a huge fan of Shawn Michaels, and also a huge fan as we watch now. Shawn Michaels making his
Oh,
entrance,
here he comes. He's coming
about
down.
to
I mean,
commentate the main event. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Shawn and one of my all-time favorites. I just love his mind for the business and the way he does things. Certainly, Mr. WrestleMania. So many good moments from him, and I love Triple H too. I mean, one of my favorite heels of all time. And these two guys at the peak of their careers, and Shawn's coming back after a 4-year layoff, and I just love that match. And remember watching that as a kid, and one of my favorite storylines as well. So we'll recap that in our next episode, and do the watch along for that match, and that's to come. But yeah, definitely excited for that, and excited to
Yeah, and
keep
then
doing
after
this thing,
that,
man.
yeah, after that we'll let you guys know some other topics we're gonna do, and eventually, we will be open to suggestions from stuff that maybe you guys want us to cover, or maybe something that maybe an episode of Raw or Nitro or a pay per view that you really liked growing up, or maybe it's a recent pay per view that was just on within the past year or something like that that somebody really liked. Maybe we'll take some ideas from you guys, and we'll go kind of go from there. But this is just like we said, the first episode. We're kind of working out the kinks here, seeing what we can do. And I really hope that you guys enjoy this episode and the many more to come after this.
Yeah, just as you said that, Chris. I mean, hell, I mean, so much pro wrestling going on today. One of the big stories and one of the best things that I've ever seen as a fan was the Hell in a Cell between Seth and Cody as he reveals the pec injury and goes out there and a gutsy performance by Cody Rhodes, and him and Seth doing what they do best, two best in the business. I mean, just great story again, and another 5-star match on the Meltzer rating for that. So something there we could cover as well somewhere down the
Yeah,
line.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, hey, we might even do short episodes here and there, maybe weekly, of like a recap of the wrestling week or something like that. A bunch of ideas we have in the pipeline here. But like I
I don't know
said,
if you caught that, Chris. Sorry to cut you off. Cool thing that just happened. Sean gets into the ring, pulls his coat uh, over his hand, and throws up the click sign there. And I believe it was the next night on Nitro or whatever. Kevin Nash, Big Daddy, would send it back to him. So these guys just, you know,
oh, didn't he say, "Hey
firing at their
HBK,
hip
right,
and
right back at you, HBK," or
right
something
back
like
at
that?
you. Yep, yep.
That was pretty good. Yeah, so we got Shawn Michaels in the ring.
Heartbreak
I'm
Kid,
guessing
baby.
guessing he's gonna cut an in-ring promo possibly here, or I guess maybe he's just gonna join the commentary table. Oh, here we go. A look in the back with Sid, the WWF champion. I mean, now he is an imposing man right there. Psycho Sid. He's just got a great look.
He does have a great look, and even though his promo work, sometimes he didn't fully believe in himself, and you can kind of sense that. A great character, and if you let him develop a little more, I mean, certainly as a young kid, you can be scared of him.
Oh my God, he's got that crazy look to him, and he's always yelling, and I was definitely scared of this guy as a kid. There's no
And then
way
of
I'd want
course
to
his
be messing
opponent.
with Psycho Sid.
So he has the strap, and his opponent is the Undertaker, one of the best of all time. Again, another Mount Rushmore type performer. A year after this, Taker would link up with his brother Kane and would have one of the best stories going into that WrestleMania. Certainly, another match we could cover is the Kane debut of the Hell in the Cell between Taker and HBK, a 5-star rating
Yeah,
again. And look at this, man. Look at how cool this is.
this is great.
Even in
And
'97, Vince in the
before
WWF.
before people had cell phones, these people are holding up lighters in the crowd.
Yep.
Like,
Look at that. I mean, that is cool as shit.
the only thing he's missing is Paul Bearer.
Yeah, you're damn right. Those two were pretty much inseparable.
Yeah, this is great stuff. Undertaker always has a great entrance. I mean, and even at this point, they didn't even really take into consideration the streak that he was actually undefeated at WrestleMania. That isn't even a part of this match. I think that was a
As you
couple of
say
years
that,
later.
as he battled Ric Flair in another one of my favorite matches of all time. I love that match. That is a great story where maybe we can cover that one day as well, where Taker is doing everything he can to have Flair accept his challenge to face him at WrestleMania, even beating up his own son, and of course, he was the dead
Yeah,
man
that
at the
was a good
time, or the American
storyline.
Badass.
So
See,
many
that's
good
the best
things.
shit about wrestling. Those great stories that culminate into a big time match, that big time feel, just awesome when it all works out like that.
There's so many good storylines that that I almost forget about, but going back and watching old wrestling kind of brings it back for you, which is another reason I love doing this because like I said, I love just watching wrestling anyway, and what's better than watching wrestling by yourself? Watching wrestling with your brother. And what's better than that? Watching wrestling with a bunch of people that are also listening to you and watching wrestling along with you. And he finally makes it to the ring.
Yeah, maybe we could do
One
a
of the
watch
best
along on some
entrances.
Taker entrances.
Oh, that would be a long episode.
Yeah.
Every WrestleMania entrance from The Undertaker.
Yeah, as you say that, I mean, I listen to a bunch of Conrad Thompson's different podcasts, and I normally listen to it on the way home and on the way to work, and it's a relaxing way to start and end your day. And I'll say it one more time, and then I won't say it again. I'm super pumped we're doing this. There you see a crowd shot after the Undertaker's
Whew.
entrance. You can see the Sid pyro set up in the above the ring right there.
Oh yeah, I love that. With that thing lit up when he's standing in the ring. That is such a cool look. They also do that for Shawn Michaels a couple times too.
Shot of HBK on commentary. Sometimes these big time guys like Shawn Michaels, he goes away and loses his smile, like we've said. But sometimes the best thing for these guys is, when you're working 300 days a year, man, you just need a break. And certainly at this time, guys didn't want to admit that they were hurt. Guys didn't want to admit that they needed a break. But, sometimes taking a couple weeks off or a month or two off here and there is what these guys needed to heal up and, as they say, learn a new hold.
Yeah, because sometimes, I mean, Shawn was in the public for how many years? Sometimes just going away for a little bit will just make it so much more exciting when you finally come back. I feel like he
Sid,
shouldn't have came back so fast though. I feel like he should have stayed away past Mania since he gave up the title and everything. But I
yeah,
mean, I know that he wants to be in the public eye, because you
right.
don't want to be away for too long either, because then you're kind of forgotten about.
One thing I love Sid's presentation here, but correct me if I'm wrong here, Chris, or tell me what you think. I mean, a dastardly. I don't know if he's a heel here, but he's certainly a scary, big figure. Man, to me, he shouldn't be fist bumping on the way to the ring.
Yeah, technically, I guess because he is a
Uh,
heel here, but
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
don't like that.
I think he's on the verge of like the cool heel, where people look at him and they just like him anyway because he just seems like a cool kind of guy, kind of like a almost like a Kevin Nash type, where it's like
Yeah.
he's trying to be a heel, but Kevin Nash is just like such a cool person that it's like, well, I don't know, he's not supposed to be a good guy, but he's pretty damn cool. So I mean, I think I like that.
The
And this is
WrestleMania
two
before this, is
giants.
that the one where it would be Taker and Diesel for the title? I believe so.
No, WrestleMania 12. No, WrestleMania
Or
12
maybe it was
was
WrestleMania 11.
Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
Oh, you're right. You're right. What am I saying?
WrestleMania 11, I think, was Shawn Michaels versus Diesel.
So I know for a fact Diesel and Taker at some Mania would take place.
Yeah, WrestleMania
Let
12.
me look this up.
Let me see. Well, I got the WrestleManias right here.
Oh yeah,
WrestleMania
dude.
11 was Shawn Michaels and Diesel, because the main event was, oh wow, look at this. Now we got the
Oh, the
standoff in the
Hitman's
ring,
back.
and we got Bret Hart coming down. And what the heck is he coming down here for? He's grabbing the mic. Okay, so he's probably pissed off. He's been getting screwed.
It's interesting to because obviously we go to Montreal and what happened
And he's
happens.
calling Shawn Michaels a faker.
His pussyfoot injury, yeah.
Wow.
So we go to Montreal and the heat is real between these guys, but still Brett knows that Sean there is no one better in that ring, and he's gonna make sure that when Sean comes back, he's the man that is gonna be in program with him. Mrs. Hart didn't raise no dummy.
Nope. He's making sure that he's gonna be in contendership for the title, hopefully, no matter who wins this match. He's pissed. He beat Stone Cold earlier. He wants a title shot. It's funny because the
Big
next
right
night on
hand by
Raw.
Sid.
Oh,
Go with a big power bomb.
nope, and there he goes. Oh, but now Sid wants the mic.
Please don't let him talk. Yeah, as you made mention to Chris, I mean you're sitting up there in your wrestling collection wrestling room. I'm sure you wouldn't mind a WrestleMania 13 folding chair there in the front
Oh
row.
no,
But
I would love to get a folding chair.
one of the coolest things in your collection is those VHSs of all the different WrestleManias. I think you have 1 through 14
Yeah.
in VHS.
Yep. 1 through 14 VHS.
Dude, that's pretty
Oh,
badass.
and we got the match started up.
That's something that was in our. I know you had it, and then it was always as I took over your room in the attic there at the old house. Something that I would always pick out a VHS and watch a Mania here and there, and
Yep, but now
like we said, something that
I
we've
still
done
got
our
him
whole
sitting
lives.
here. Yep, and I still got him sitting here now, right next
Do
to
you
me
have
at this
any of them
moment.
signed?
I do have one, WrestleMania 9, signed by Jim Ross.
How about that? Is that
Huh.
his? Is that when he was Toga Man and came out and
Yep,
debuted?
that's when he was a toga. I actually said to him, uh, "Hey Jim, I bet you didn't really like wearing that toga that night." And he was like, "Oh well, if you would have seen the check that I got, I didn't give a shit what they wanted me to wear."
Good for you, man. Good for
I
you.
just started laughing and I was like, "Well, thanks very much for that." I'm just gonna get a time cue from you now. One last one before the event's over. I got 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 7 seconds.
Okay, I'm
I
about
got
10 seconds ahead of you.
I got
Let me
Undertaker
pause here.
just hit an
Tell
old
me when you
school.
get to 21 seconds.
All right, 19, 20, 21. All right, we're at 2:24:24 for anybody
Bear
watching
with us
along
here,
with us.
folks. Still,
Oh,
like we said, working out the kinks. First timers here.
yeah, you got a little technical issues every once in a while, when we're not in the same room anyway.
God damn it.
Oh, we got a big
Pronouns,
bear
pal.
hug. Big bear hug. It's been a good
What'd you
event
think
though
of,
so far.
yeah, yeah. What do you think of
And
this Undertaker presentation
this one's not
in
so
terms
bad.
of the rest of his? I liked it, yeah.
I like This one I like maybe him like a year prior when like with the purple maybe. I
Yeah,
do
I
like the
agree.
gray. I like the purple a little bit better, but I like how he always evolves his character though. He's always changing
Mm-hmm.
something up. Just even just the simple purple to gray. You know what I mean? And where he's going to next when he's about to do the whole um, the match of Bad Blood versus Shawn Michaels. You know, his character is really going to evolve a little bit more, kind of get a little bit more like demonic almost.
Yeah, the subtle nuances that he would change with his entrance theme song and his entrance gear or his wrestling gear. And that match, that Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood, still the precedent to every Hell in a Cell match that has followed. I mean, still
Yeah,
regarded
even
as the best one
even
ever.
besides Mick Foley going off the top, I mean that first one was still, I'd say, probably the best one. Um,
Yeah, and
just
even
just again, like as I say about story, I mean that the storytelling in that match was just incredible.
and my favorite debut of all time with Kane coming out. But even the Undertaker credits Shawn. I mean, he's so good in that match. He said that put Shawn in there with a broomstick and he'll be 5 stars. I mean, he's just so good. Even little things like he takes a big overhead press on top of the cell. Now the cell is all unsturdy and everything, but Shawn's able to make it as clean and safe as possible. I mean, just the ultimate pro.
Yeah, you see this match going. It's just a bear hug has been going on for like 2 minutes. That's what the Giants do. You don't see a bear hug in wrestling anymore. Not to say that I like the bear hug, but you don't see that anymore.
Look at that. Taker, 6'7" frame, goes
Oh,
over the top,
going over the table.
over the table.
I never want to sit at that table. But yeah,
Yeah,
we've had
big.
a pretty good event so far tonight. I mean, like I said,
Yeah, man,
the
good
first
call.
match we started off with the fatal four-way elimination match, with the headbangers getting the win in that one, and like I said, the next night they go on to face Bulldog and Owen, but they don't win. Then we had the Intercontinental Championship match with Rocky Maivia and the Sultan. Maivia winning or keeping the title. Another good match. And Meltzer didn't really like that match. That was the lowest rated match for Meltzer on the card was Rocky versus the Sultan, which was a 1.25 star.
Again, though, I mean, Rocky doing the groundwork here. I'm thinking it's his first WrestleMania. You got to start somewhere, man. I mean, you can't. It's like I always say, minor league baseball guys that go into the pros. I mean, they're not going to be a superstar right off the bat, man. They need some at bats. Huh.
Huh. That's exactly right. And then we had
Sid
Hunter
going for
Hearst
the cover.
Helmsley with China versus Goldust with Marlena, which is another great match and a great ending to that match where he knocked Marlena into the ragdolling of China. That was very good. Then we had the tag team championship match. Obviously, that went to a double count out, which was kind of a lame finish. But I guess they just wanted Owen and Bulldog to keep the title without having Mankind and Vader have to lose a match. So then we had the submission match. Obviously, the best match in the card. We had Bret Hart beating Stone Cold Steve Austin, only because Stone Cold passed out, not because he gave up or anything. Then we had LOD and Ahmed Johnson beating the Nation of Domination in a Chicago street fight. So we've had definitely a good card, good matches, and now we're on to the main event. And we got the two giants going at it. Sid coming off the top there with a double axe handle. I mean, very intimidating guy. Oh, just blew a big snot rocket into the camera. I mean,
No class. No class by the Psycho Sid.
no class whatsoever. And he's our WWF champion. Comes Undertaker making
Big
a
fire up
comeback.
by Undertaker.
Yeah, the
Taker would
next night
always
on.
say, "Go ahead, Chris."
Oh, I was gonna say the next night on Raw, actually, as Raw went off the air, Undertaker was in the ring doing an interview with Vince McMahon, and Paul Bearer came down, and Paul Bearer actually is trying to get Undertaker to take him back. And as this is happening, you have Mankind on the Titantron doing a basement interview, calling out, "Uncle Paul, come back! Uncle Paul, come back!" And that's how Raw went off the air the night after this. So I don't know when exactly Paul Bearer came back to Undertaker, but it's the beginning of that storyline.
And that's something that they revisited time and time again. Even when the Undertaker went away for a while and then came back, made his return at WrestleMania 20 against his brother Kane. Paul Bearer was right there to make his entrance with him. So always a duo that, it's like the Beatles playing their vintage songs, man. I mean, Undertaker and Paul Bearer, you gotta love that. Taker would
Yep, they've
always
had they've
say
had their
that
differences.
he would work in a style to implement his character in a way like the old slasher movies, like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers, how it was slow, methodical, and right when you thought you had him down or beat, he'd pop up, do something athletic, and then throttle it back. And you can kind of see that in this match here. Sid's on the offensive a lot of the times. Irish whip off the, like right here, boom, the big jumping clothesline, and then right back down. So,
Yeah, that is right.
patented Undertaker stuff. Certainly a phenomenal athlete for to be doing something like that at 6'9" or 6'8" or whatever the hell he is. Plus, he's
Oh
three
yeah,
bills.
people don't give Undertaker enough credit, because some like people don't associate with him with having 5-star matches or whatever. But I must say I haven't really been disappointed by an Undertaker match.
Well, the
You
thing
know,
is, Chris, I mean, Undertaker didn't have to go out there and have a Bret Hart 5-star match. He needed to go out there, get his character over, and just make sure that every time that gong went off, you popped, which he did. And then, as he became the American Badass and started to evolve his work in the ring, and then, he came back as The Undertaker again, the Dead Man again, he was able to keep some of his more athletic movement. And then you see matches like him and Shawn at Manias, those two Manias that were great. I'm sure we'll cover those. Uh, so Taker, man, I mean, one of the all-time best. Maybe, maybe the best. You could make an argument. Big right
yeah,
hands by Taker.
maybe not the best in-ring wrestler, but I'd say everything else, character-wise, just his presentation, and I mean, he can put on a good match with almost anybody, which is which is saying a lot for a big man. Here it is,
Yeah,
two big guys in the ring, and they're putting on a good match. I mean, yeah, they're doing some rest holds and a lot of stuff like that, but this is good action right here. Oh, there's a good elbow drop from the Undertaker, misses though.
yeah. I think it's interesting, man. I mean, all this fighting you see in the crowd, even over the guardrail. Now they're certainly not doing Sabu leaps and dives into the crowd or New Jack dives off of balconies. But they're a year previous to this, you wouldn't see guys in the guardrail or guys in the crowd. They're implementing some uh, some of those things into their presentation here, even on a big pay per view like this.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not common. I was just gonna say that too because the one spot on the outside. I mean, they've had like 3 different matches in a row have went right to that spot. So it's like the crowd's getting a lot of action there. Sid's got Taker down, trying to put the dead man out, trying to keep his title.
I always loved Taker chasing the title too. I mean, he was a great champion as well. Don't get me wrong, but I loved him being the challenger.
Oh yeah, I feel like he doesn't really even need to have the title. I feel like he didn't need to win the title here, but it's a good thing he did. because of the streak. And like they might not have even been thinking of the streak back then, and they could have just had Sid win this match, and then the streak would have never been a thing.
Yeah, that's something that just organically came a part of pro wrestling and a part of WrestleMania. The streak match.
And
I
I
was
think
a huge, well, I still am a
at this
huge
time it's like,
streak fan.
oh yeah. I mean, at this time too, it's like who else should be champion? I think Taker really was the man right at this time. When they're kind of like transitioning with the Austin and Bret Hart, like not being, for the title, more so just like having a good storyline behind their match and stuff like that, and getting Austin ready for the title. It's good to have Undertaker there. A lot of
Taker
lot of
with
little
that
nerve
nerve
holds
lock right
here.
on Psycho Sid.
Sid talking to him as he's getting up, telling him, "Hey, I got a softball game this weekend. Don't hurt me too bad."
Get off my trap, boy. Irish whip into the ropes.
Oh,
You stepped in a pile. Big clothesline by Take.
laying in that pile of blood from Austin earlier in the night. Can't keep Sid down just yet. It's gonna take a little bit more than that. And how is he gonna get Sid up in the tombstone? That's what I'm wondering. Oh, a
Double big
double
boot.
double big boot. I haven't seen that
Both
in a
men
long
down.
time. I mean, this is
Well, if
how
you
they.
want, Chris, I can come over quick and show you exactly how to do a tombstone pile driver. I'll put
Yeah,
you over
come
one.
on over. My door's
All
unlocked.
right. No.
And this is how they get a longer match out of these two by doing these nerve holds and these double big boots and stuff like that. Puts both the big men down. Shows vulnerability for both of them.
Of course, you got
Which,
Earl Hebner in the main event.
oh yeah, you have to have Heb in the main event. Yeah, the next night on Raw too, Shawn Michaels comes down. Well, Bret Hart's in the ring and he's running off on everybody. This is the infamous promo where he tells American fans to kiss his ass, and he just runs down everything that he's been screwed out of in the past year. So as he's doing that, Shawn Michaels comes down to the ring, and Bret attacks the knee, puts Michaels in a figure four on the ring post, and Sid actually comes down to make the save, and Bret Hart leaves. They went to commercial, and that was kind of the end of that. But yeah, the next night on Raw, Bret Hart does attack Shawn Michaels, and kind of sets up more of their feud. Because as we know, the next November, first Survivor Series of this year is going to be the Montreal Screwjob, and get the title back onto Shawn Michaels.
As we're going through these things, man, I mean, and I know the UFC, I'm a big UFC fan as well. Their Hall of Fame has a fight Hall of Fame wing to it as well, where they'll put in some of the best fights of all time, and they'll classify that as a Hall of Fame fight. I'd love to see the WWE do something like that and put some of these matches in its own kind of Hall of Fame wing. And you
That
could
would be
certainly put
cool.
Austin and Brett uh, in there, and they could go, having a hell of an acceptance speech. I think that'd be cool as a wrestling fan to kind of relive some of those moments and have that a part of their Hall of Fame.
That would be cool. It'd be cool to even like be able to sit down and watch those two sit down together and like watch that match back and like talk about it together, years
Who
later.
knows? Maybe we'll have one of them on the Hard and Soft Pro Wrestling podcast one of these days. Never
Yeah,
know.
I think I'm gonna try to see if I can get Bret Hart on. You know,
Yeah, just call
I mean, he was
him. Hey,
he
let
was
it be
another
known
one.
we just met him.
Yeah, he was another really nice guy that we met, and It didn't get a lot of time to sit and talk to him, but from what I did, he was very nice. Uh-oh, off the top rope. Boom. Patented Flair maneuver right there.
Think we'll see that July
Oh,
31st? I
we're
think so.
we're gonna be seeing that on July 31st. Uh-oh,
Are you
here
coming
goes
over?
Undertaker to the top rope. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Uh-oh, Undertaker to the top. Oh, flying clothesline. Takes Sid
Big
down.
bump by two guys. Again, patent vintage Undertaker.
Going
Go
for
for
the
the cover.
cover. I don't
One,
think
two.
you're gonna cover Sid with a flying clothesline. You're gonna need to hit him with a tombstone, I think. Uh-oh. He's calling for the end. Let's see if he can hit it.
Picking Sid up for the
Oh.
tombstone pile driver. Sid's gonna
Uh-oh.
reverse.
Sid reverses into one of his
I
own.
oh, it's always cool to see those
He
guys do
hit
that, man.
he hit the tombstone on the Undertaker, and he's trying to do the cross arm pin. Whew. Undertaker kicks out.
Good sell job by Psycho Sid. I think it's something to say, say what you want about Psycho Sid. Everyone has their opinions, but Taker doesn't let just anyone give him a tombstone. He's got to have some
No.
trust.
I think Sid's actually a lot better than people give him the credit for. Yeah, he's a big guy and he can't do, a ton of stuff in the ring, but what he does do is pretty damn good, and he's got a really good intensity about him. Uh-oh. Oh,
Got another good Bret Hart.
Bret Hart comes
Big
down
chair
and
shot
nails
to the
Sid
back.
with the chair. He's probably trying to DQ this match. There's good old Pat Patterson coming down. Oh, but there's no DQ going on yet.
Kind of a weird thing there. I mean,
Uh-oh.
I like in these manias to have a big time main event between two dudes, and it's kind of just them two.
Yeah,
I get it now and again. You got to have some.
I don't really see the need for Bret Hart to come down and interfere in the match, though. Especially because, he did it right in front of the ref, and there was no DQ or anything. Like, they could have at least done it where the ref didn't see it. Uh-oh.
Goozle. I would always love when Taz would commentate a choke slam from The Undertaker. Got him up with the goozle. I always love when he said that.
Right by the goozle. Oh,
What'd
and
you
he
think of
can't.
Taz's commentary? I mean, I know he was a great
I think he's a good
pro
commentary.
wrestler. Yeah,
Yeah, I
still
think he's
doing it
good on
today in
commentary.
AEW.
I mean, he's no Tony Schiavone or JR, but uh-oh. Just when Undertaker thought he had him,
Takes a
Sid
bump
comes
over the
back.
top. You can kind of tell as you're watching this, we're certainly in the last portion or section of this match. They're ready to go home here, setting up the last couple sequences.
Oh
Sid,
yeah.
look
Sid
at the
trying for the
crowd.
power
Here
bomb.
comes
Here
Bret
comes
again.
Bret Hart again.
Big right hand.
He's coming back down. Oh,
Off the
and
ropes
sets
into the
up for
pile
the
driver.
tombstone. Uh-oh. That's got to be it.
Crowd's alive for it.
I don't think people kicked
Crowd's
out of the
ready.
tombstone back then.
No, certainly not. Here's the 1-2-3 by Earl. The crowd's ready
And that's
for
it.
Undertaker as a champ, man.
Yeah, he's a new champ. I mean, crowd is actually going nuts right now for this,
Yeah, they come
which
alive.
it's a good moment. Undertaker getting the belt, WrestleMania main event, pretty damn cool.
Nicey Taker doing his patented Dead Man celebration here. Always loved Taker's theme song at any stage of his career. Added to the
I mean,
mystique of his character.
when you hear the gong, You just know.
That's my alarm clock every morning. Do you know that? And then I sit up,
That's a good wake up call, actually.
and then I just go brush my teeth and do something soft.
And there it is, the winged eagle,
Oh, the
the
all-time
greatest
greatest belt of all
WWF
time.
belt ever.
Certainly the best looking thing, man. Just vintage strap.
Just to see Undertaker holding that up, great. Earl Hebner
And I
rolling
believe we're
Psycho
gonna
Sid out of the ring.
get the lights are gonna go down here. We're gonna get the shot of Taker, new champion.
It's gotta feel good to close WrestleMania holding the title above your head. You know what I mean? Just it's gotta be a good feeling. Crowd going nuts. I forget how he loses it, but I don't think he has a title for very long. Because I
Some
think Bret
ECW
Hart
sign
beats
in the
him
crowd.
for it.
Just a cool shot. Another
Oh yeah,
iconic visual.
I think. Oh yeah, this is great. I mean, down on one knee, holding the title up. Just amazing.
A good ending to again a nice card, man. Here in
Yeah,
'97.
not a bad WrestleMania. You know, it was definitely one of the better ones. One of my favorite WrestleManias. Um,
Yeah,
I know like
certainly
my
the peak of
actually
your fandom.
yeah, this was like teenage years, just everything just going on. Stone Cold, Bret Hart. Yep, and that's how it's gonna go off the air. Well, that was a great first episode there, Randall.
Yeah, great,
Good
great
show.
pick, Chris. And what would you rate that card? I know you
I
said
mean,
one of your favorites.
I'd give that a 4 out of 5 stars for the whole card. Just for entertainment value. There really wasn't anything on there that I was like, ugh, I gotta sit through this.
Right.
Which is
And
good.
again, so, to your
Had
point, man. I mean, some people might say not a star-studded card as far as great stories throughout, but again, man, those big moments and certainly that Austin Brett match stealing the show. Sometimes that's enough, man, to give you your money's worth.
Yeah, that's all I need. I mean, that great Austin and Bret Hart match, and then the main event really was a pretty good match too, for what it was with the two big superstars. I mean, great card overall. Good ending with Undertaker winning the title. I mean, great first episode of a podcast. Had a great time recording tonight, and I look forward to our next show.
Yeah, me too, man. Good call. Uh, Meltzer would give that main event a 1.25 stars. So Meltzer didn't like it. Again, not his type of match. But look, great card. Uh, Certainly a memorable card, and I agree, man. I'd give it, a solid 3.25 stars out of 5, something like that. Um, Certainly some memorable moments and a great first episode. Thanks for sitting down with me, brother.
Yeah, definitely, man. We're gonna have to do this again sometime soon, and I mean, I thank everybody out there that is listening to us, or will continue to listen to us down the road here, and just come on this journey with us.
All right, man. So thank you very much. That is the first episode in the books, and like Chris made mention, you can expect a little SummerSlam '02 action coming up with HBK and Triple H. But hey, man, thanks for sitting down with me, watching a great card, some good pro wrestling, and remember, if you're not hard,
You're
you're
soft.
soft, and I'm soft. All right,
Have a
brother.
good night.
You too, man. Later.